What is up, everybody? Welcome to the feast. Uh-oh, guys. Haha, let's start. Alright, let's try that again. Welcome to the feast, episode number 65. The show where you submit replays and we cast them. I am Delthius. How's it going, everybody? Getting things started a little bit early tonight. And I am dual streaming onto the Steam store page as well as on Twitch. So, if you guys will give me 1 second, let me make sure that is all working here correctly. How's it going, everybody? I'm excited. I did test it earlier, so it should be working. But let me double check Aroni. Let us check it out. Let me see. Let's see here. Ooh. Waiting for a response from Delthius. Yo, Master Stealth. Yeah, I did a test about an hour ago and it worked. So I apologize, guys, if I am live on Steam and I'm just derping around here for a minute. Let me make sure everything is as it should be. So yeah, we're basically going to be watching some replays tonight, and analyzing them, casting them, having a good old time. Let us see. There it is. There it is. Hey. Hey, it's working. Just had to give it a second. Alright. Cool. So what's up, everybody on Steam? Welcome to the show. I am Delthius, and I host a replay casting show for Tooth and Tail every Tuesday and Thursday night. So I decided, why not cast this week during the sale on the Steam page. So without any further ado, let me make sure everything is good. We're looking good. Go ahead and get rid of that. I got way too many windows open, man. Alright. Okay. We should be good here. I've got it set up where I can kind of monitor the chat both in Steam and on Twitch. So I will try to get to everybody as best I can. And I think we're ready to go. So let us hop into match number 1. Okay, spawning on the left, we've got Doggo. And his opponent to the right, Amistria. Alright, let's take a look at the deck selection and map here. Doesn't look... Actually, you know what? This is going to be a pretty crazy game because neither player here really has access to a decent second base. There is this kind of 12 o'clock position, but I'm not so sure if either player is really going to be able to take that base as it's kind of in the middle. So I kind of expect to see an aggressive game here, which is unfortunate for Doggo because Doggo's deck setup is kind of geared to get to that late game, right? Like, he wants to take a couple bases, get up to a strong tier 2 heavy army, and get that wolf buff. And the tier 3 unit from Doggo here, the wolf, buffs up other units, increases their movement speed and attack speed, can also increase the production rate of buildings and of farming. So it's not out of the question for Doggo to get a tier 3 off of one base, but, you know, Doggo doesn't necessarily have to go for that strategy here. You know, he's still got Squirrel, Pigeon, Skunk, which is kind of the bread and butter early game aggressive push. And meanwhile, Amistria should be relatively happy with this map, as, you know, her plan here is to really just get a lot of tier 2. I imagine mainly going to go for that Skunk, Squirrel, Pigeon opening, kind of get into some Falcons, and maybe build the Ferrets as needed. Either to siege her opponent or kind of break if the opponent had turrets or something like that. With Delthius Wolf we feast. Hey, what's up, Blitz Rider? Good to see you, man. Master Stealth, what's going on, guys? Everybody in the Steam chat, how's it going? So actually, you know what? We see Amistria take this base very, very quickly. And I'm curious if Doggo's actually seen it. He has not, and I don't know if he'd really go scout over there, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, you wouldn't kind of expect it. And look at this, Amistria placing down some barbed wire here. I love it. It's going to make it very, very difficult for Doggo to get over there. Now, barbed wire, the way it works, it's pretty cheap. It's only 20 food. and your units will walk through it and take damage and also damage the barbed wire. And there's only a couple of units in the game that can kind of effectively take out barbed wire. The chameleon is one of them, and Doggo does have the chameleon, so he'll be happy about that. But another strategy you can do against the barbed wire is you can kind of, like Doggo could walk his skunks up, you know, take some hits on the barbed wire, the skunks, heal him back up with the pigeons. But Doggo is actually going for a pretty crazy build here, and I wonder if Amistra got the scout. Yeah, it does look like she did. So she doesn't know which tier 2 are coming, but she knows 2 tier 2 are on the way. Miss Clicker with the raid. What's going on, man? I appreciate it. Yeah, so that's pretty greedy, to be honest. I feel like Amistra could have, you know, approached that in several different ways. She could have just kept building tier 1 and tried to time attack in there before the tier 2 are finished. That's pretty risky, though, to be honest. And plus the fact that the skunks are really good against most tier 1 units. And skunks are pretty meta right now. You know, Amistra doesn't know necessarily that Doggo has skunks just from that earlier scout, but she can kind of assume. But I like this approach instead. She decides, you know what, you're going to get 2 tier 2. I'll get 2 tier 2 as well. And the big story here is this base that's getting saturated up. Now, Doggo's army supply is pretty significantly ahead of Amistria's at the moment. So if, oh no, Amistria's commander goes down too. A bit of a misplay from Amistria there. And now her army is not going to be microed. And Doggo definitely takes the better end of that engagement. Barely keeps the skunk alive at 1 HP too. And now that the pigeon's getting over here to heal that back up, Doggo's push is going to be in great shape. But Doggo does have the campfire, which counts as 1 farm. But that still puts Amistria 2 farms ahead. And Doggo does know about that second base now. So he's going to try to wiggle up onto this high ground. I like that a lot. And try to get a superior position here. But the skunk gas for Amistria was fantastic earlier on. Now Doggo's getting some momentum, pushes in. I like this a lot. He doesn't overextend. He gets some damage done and he backs out for now. And Doggo's also getting a lot of map presence with this fight. So securing that southern position and you know, gobbling up all those gristmills down there for additional expansions shouldn't be too difficult for Doggo. And this is where it's going to get rough. Doggo's now finally got onto this high ground. He wants to start putting pressure on that second base, but he's really kind of all in at this position. He doesn't have an escape route, so Amistria's moving in, trying to target fire down those skunks. That reinforcing skunk also got taken out. And Amistria should hold. She really needs to keep her ferrets alive here, though. Gets those out of there. That is very good. And yeah, this is actually going very well for Amistria. That was pretty greedy positioning there from Doggo. I don't blame him. I probably would have done the same thing. But, you know, he kind of paid the price for it there as he lost more tier 2 than Amistria did. Can I send a replay, says Midgar? Yeah, man. I've got a lot lined up already, but I'm trying to go a little bit longer than I normally do since I am indeed streaming on Steam. So no promises. I could try to squeeze it in, but if I don't get to it tonight, definitely get to it tomorrow, Thursday night, rather. Alright, so the game is going to stabilize for a minute. Doggo's investing in this balloon to try to dissuade Amistria from pushing the issue and attacking in and sealing the deal. And I feel like Amistria, you know, she's not aware. It's easy for us to critique and say things like, oh, why isn't Amistria just attacking in right now? She's got the better numbers, but, you know, she doesn't necessarily know that. And also, she doesn't want to play too risky. She feels like she's ahead. She doesn't want to make a mistake. Now, she has scouted that this base was taken from Doggo, but she doesn't see how aggressively Doggo took that second base. But Amistria's economy is still well in the lead. It's been in the lead for a while. Now it's kind of evening up. So the benefit here for Doggo, kind of silver lining here for his position, is that his second base was established much later than Amistria's was. So Amistria's second base is going to mine out a little bit faster. And that might put Doggo in a great position because it's going to be hard to take this base. Like, Amistria already took it, yeah, but to actually defend that base and you know, farm from it is going to be very difficult indeed. Oh, what? You already started? Yeah, I started a little bit early tonight, P-Boop. Since I'm streaming on Steam and want to get to a couple extra replays. So here we go. Amistria's thought about farming up this third. Gonna wait a second, maybe get some barbed wire up first. Doggo's gonna scout it now, though. I wonder if that's gonna trigger him to move out. Amistria is already preemptively moving her units in position, and Doggo decides, no way. I can't let you get that position, but you know, he really can't do a whole lot about it at the moment, unfortunately. Like, Amishia's got everything that Doggo has and more at the moment. So we'll have to see where this game goes from here. I might fast forward just a little bit. As I say that, the Wolf gets placed down from Doggo. That'd be really cool to see that tier 3 unit hit the board. That's really, you know, if Doggo can hold on until that tier 3 unit is out, his army power level is going to skyrocket. And he might actually have a chance to do something here. Now, Amisha is getting up to 4 ferrets, and ferrets are kind of this weird unit. You know, they're not pound for pound as good as other tier 2 units are in a direct fight. But once you start getting up to like 4, 6 ferrets, I mean, it starts getting pretty ridiculous. As I almost consider ferret shots like random probability and statistics kind of thing, you know, because if your opponent's microing their units around, as you see that Doggo's trying to do here, you can kind of predict where those ferret shots are going to land by those red circles that appear and try to micro your units and dodge them. But, you know, that's not too difficult to do when your opponent's got 2 ferrets, but when they've got 4, 6, 8 ferrets, I mean, you're just going to be landing hits, right? It's just math at that point. But Doggo is delaying the game. That's exactly what he needs. Amisha, her big power level push up is going to be in the form of Falcons here. Falcons are kind of the glass cannon unit in Tooth and Tail. And, you know, 1 or 2 Falcons, not the biggest deal in the world. But when you get up to 6, 8, 10, like a whole flock of them, it can really pack a significant punch. So I like... You know, if you're going to run a deck without tier 3, I really do like that addition of Falcons in there to kind of give you a way to kind of exponentially grow your army's power. And I love this little run-around attack from Doggo here, just moving his chameleons over, keeping the rest of his army in position. And Amisha can't even really respond to that, to be honest. So instead, she's just going to go for it here, and she's going to take a fight underneath some balloons. And the Wolf is here. The Wolf is on the way, ready to buff up Doggo's units, but most of Doggo's units are already gone. Amisha took the fight under the balloon and won it regardless. And now she's in a really good spot, trying to keep that skunk alive, gets it home. And she's seen the Wolf now. She knows what to expect, and I'm interested to see how she wants to play it out from here. This is actually a pretty sweet game. You know, I'm actually really surprised that we've gotten 10 minutes in. Like, 10 minutes is actually pretty long for a Tooth and Tail game. Not necessarily long, I think that's the wrong word, but this is definitely, like, the late game phase, you know? And the fact that we got there on this map that looks so awkward in the beginning is pretty crazy. But Amisha might have too much here. She's moving in for the big kill. Let's see if she can get it done. She target fires down that gristmill, and that might be too much damage. But Doggo does still have that Wolf. He's finally got his chameleons back in. He's going to try to return the favor, get as much damage done to Amishia's army as possible. But I'm not so sure if he's got a dog left in the fight at the moment. These ferrets, too, have been doing a great job. One of them went down, but the other 3 still remain. That Falcon count for Amisha is finally starting to get up. And I think the damage has been done from here. But we can definitely watch a little bit of carnage. So Doggo keeps bringing his skunks up. It's kind of a little micro thing you can do with the skunks, where you get them ahead of your army and try to throw down some gas clouds on your opponent's army and get some kind of preliminary damage before the big engagement happens. Well played game. I think Doggo almost came back in. That attack where he just snuck the 2 chameleons up and knocked out a base was very impressive. But in the end, Amisha played it well and took the match. Okay, guys. Let me check the health of the old stream here. I almost said the Steam. Looking good. 0 drop frames. All right. Oh, you didn't knock out the base, just a farm. You know, Amisha, I second-guessed myself right as I said that. I just kind of assumed that the base went down, and then I was like, you know what? I never actually checked if that base actually did die, so thank you for clarifying. All right, guys. Let us hop into the next match. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got the Gentleman. And his opponent to the left, Iris. Okay. Let's take a quick look at the map. It looks really good for Iris. You can't really complain if you're in his position here, as he's got a nice natural expansion up on the high ground, pretty close to his main base, and he's even got relatively decent access to this northern expansion as a third. And meanwhile, the gentleman's kind of got it a bit rough here. He does have a campfire outside of his base, but the way that the ramps are configured, that's actually fairly vulnerable to an attack from Iris there. And that rush distance really isn't that far at all. And the gentleman, awesome. I've been trying to make this work. He's running this Owl-Fox combination. Both players are running the Fox here, which is really cool to see. But the Owl-Fox is pretty interesting, because the Fox is this tier 3 unit that's really good in the early to mid-game, but has some hard counters in the form of defensive structures, units like wolves and lizards and owls, snakes, chameleons, mines. So there's a lot of ways to deal with a Fox, but a Fox in the right hands with some good control can be very devastating. Now, the Fox is going to kind of, peter off a little bit in the late game as, units like balloons get up or other tier 3, like the Owl, just start to overwhelm it. So the gentleman's answer to that is, I've got the Fox, so I can do some Fox shenanigans if I feel like it, and then I can transition into that Owl later on. And meanwhile, Iris is going for a more traditional Fox approach, 2 tier 1, 2 tier 2, a tier 3, and a turret. Don't Owl Fox kid, says Premium Bow. You know what? I like it, man. Don't take my word for it. I'm kind of a silly player, but I like the concept of Owl Fox, I think it's pretty sick. But it's interesting because it kind of breaks that golden rule in deck building where it's like, you want your deck to be really good at one specific thing, not like all right at multiple things, But all around, the other units in the gentleman's army here are fine, Really, he dropped something like maybe toads or pigeons to fit in that owl. So, all right, gentleman's trying to move out here. He's got a couple skunks. He wants to punish Iris from being a little greedy with that expansion. But does he decide to turn around? For now, it looks like it. He's getting his own gristmill up. And I like that he's getting this gristmill out pretty aggressively, right? Because this map, at first glance didn't really look that great for the gentleman. But if he can maintain this position on this high ground here, now all of a sudden, excuse me, he's got access to a second and third base, and this map becomes a lot more even. Owl Fox is a meme. Used to be the Arbuz deck. Man, I like it, I don't know, something about it. I like the concept of an Owl Fox. Hey, Andy in the chat. What's going on, my man? Oh, wow, the gentleman actually taking this base already. I'm kind of interested why he did that. Gentleman is normally watching, so if you are, man, chime in and let us in there. Is it just that you don't want to build more farms in front of your gristmill here because they might be a bit too exposed? Because typically what you'll see is you'll fully saturate out this base before you continue on and take another expansion. Andy's in the Steam chat, P-Boop. I gotta monitor 2 chats here, man. Double duty for Delthius. Double Delthius duty. Yeah, so I think the mindset here was the gentleman didn't want these higher up farms exposed. Now, did the gentleman scout the Fox is the question. He has not. Really intuitive Fox placement here from Iris. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because when you place your tier 3 Warren down, you're kind of going for ideally 2 situations at the same time. You want A, that tier 3 Warren to be in a spot that's going to be difficult for your opponent to scout, and B, you also want to keep it protected. So Iris just kind of went for route A here. It's going to be difficult for gentleman to scout that tier 3 Warren, but if he does get the scout off, oh, he just barely dies. I don't think he had the vision there. If he does get the scout off, then it's going to be very easy for the gentleman to take that Warren out. Now, Iris did get the scout off on gentleman's Fox pretty quickly, so we're going to go into Fox versus Fox here. No balloons in the game. The real big counter that both players have to Fox at the moment is the turrets. Now, I feel like the gentleman should sell off his Falcons, probably. I'd normally recommend that. If you're playing against Fox, I I normally think it's the right move to make to sell off your Falcons, because the Falcons are just very, very easy for an opponent's Fox to snipe, and because they'll one-shot them. You know, the Fox has got great range. Gets both those Ferrets down to 1 HP, but they live. The Ferrets did get a little bit of work done knocking down that turret. Gentleman might have sold it, but if he did, it would have been for a small amount. Now both players know what's up. We've got Fox Wars going on here. So how this is going to work is a shot from a Fox onto a Fox will leave the Fox at 1 HP, right? So basically you need to hit your opponent's Fox with your Fox, and then anything else. Just one shot from a squirrel, doesn't matter. And you can knock that Fox out. And what's really interesting about the Fox Micro is, you know, since you're following around your commander, you can target fire with your commander, right, to tell certain unit groups or your entire army to focus certain of your opponent's units. But if you do that, since your commander is up front, then you're not going to be able to bob and weave, if that makes sense. So you kind of have to make the decision, as Yaris is going to come in and try to get that target fire down on his Fox, but as he's trying to do that, he's leaving his Fox a little bit vulnerable. But these Toad connections were absolutely insane, man. Toads Magodes here for Iris, and his commander goes down though, and so does his Fox. So the gentleman is taking a lot of damage here, but he is going to stabilize. And since the gentleman does have this third base up and running, yeah, losing the second base hurts, but it's not the end of the world. And look at this, man, 3 owls on the way for the gentleman as well. Man, 12 Toads going in there. That was absolutely insane. But you have to also keep in mind the fact that Iris lost all of those Toads, right? And also that the gentleman's army was a bit weaker going into that fight, as he had just thrown down a couple additional tier 3 units trying to get this owl out. And we're gonna see this owl-fox combination get to fruition here, as the first couple owls are on their way out now for gentlemen. And Iris stuck with his Fox. He decided to go ahead and pay for another one. A lot of times you'll see when a tier 3 unit goes down, people will typically sell that Warren off and get that money refund for the 180 food on the tier 3 Warren. But you don't always have to do that. I don't disagree with this at all from Iris, but Iris really needs to sell his Toads. Toads are going to blow up upon impact, and the owl is dropping all these free mice unit, right? So basically the Toads, if they explode on those mice, I mean, that's just very, very free value for the gentleman here. But Iris is moving in and getting a ton of work done. Gentleman getting the target fire down on the Fox, though, almost. Iris moving his Fox back just in time. That was very, very close. Oh, let's see. Gentleman going in for it again. Barely doesn't get it. Iris needs to be careful. Oh, is Iris going to get the target fire down? Man, I can barely keep up this game. Good job on the gentleman keeping these owls alive. But again, Iris is pushing in, man. He's getting a lot of work done here. And if he takes his base out from the gentleman, yet again, the Fox, though, is going to go down. Very nice pickup from the gentleman. And that was a real big powerhouse of Iris's army. So he needs to be careful at this point. The gentleman has kept all of his tier 3 alive, and he might actually be coming back into this game. The free units that the owl is going to produce might just start being a little bit too much for Iris here. But Iris does have a very, very good economy. Keep that in mind. So this is a crazy game, man. Yeah, so once you start getting these owls out, well, a lot of times what you'll see players do is kind of give the owls a few seconds to let some mice spawn. And once the mice are all spawned, they'll micro their owl forward, get those mice to go rampage on their opponent, and just try to trade free units for not free units, you know what I mean? And just gain value over time. I think it's interesting the gentleman hasn't sold off a couple of these turrets, specifically this back one here. All right, gentleman's looking for the position. He wants to move these mice up front to tank, and yeah, he's even just going to pull everything else back. Let these mice do their thing. And again, man, those Toads, yeah, now Iris gets the memo and sells those Toads off. They're just not going to trade well against an opponent with an owl composition. Man, this is a really cool game. I like how the gentleman's just trying to, you know, toy with Iris almost, like move back and forth, try to find spots where Iris is out of position. Iris's commander goes down there as well. This is a nice capability for gentlemen to come in and engage and snipe that Fox yet again. And is that going to be too much for Iris? It looks like, and he's going to tap out. Gentleman takes the game. That was very close, man. I thought Iris was definitely on the path to winning after that big engagement with the 12 toads. That was sick. Okay. Yeah, a couple people in the Steam chat, if you're having issues with the Steam, I've kind of noticed that if you have the window focused, it's a bit more reliable, and you can also pop it out on the, there's a little button that says like pop out the stream or something on the Steam store, and I think that helps a little bit as well. Hey, what's up, Pile? Good to see you, man. All right, match number 3, you guys. You're not prepared. Because spawning on the right, we've got the one and only Bonker. Getting ready for some total bonkage here. And on the left, we've got you, man. Again, a double Fox game, so pretty interesting. This time, we've got Wolf Fox, which is pretty neat. I want to say it was Print F, the legendary StarCraft 2 cannon rusher. He plays Tooth and Tail from time to time, and at one point he was a top level player, and he played a Wolf Fox ferret style. That was absolutely insane. Just seeing those buffed up ferrets with the extra attack speed was totally crazy, man. All right, let's see what these players are going for this game. You, man, goes for a 5-farm Warren. It's kind of a safe opening, which is going to come in handy because Bonk is looking like he wants to be aggressive this match, going for what we call a 5-farm double here. And so Bonk's goal is to try to punish an opponent that is going straight for 8 farms by building units a bit faster than normal and trying to catch their opponent with their pants down a little bit. You know, just on 8 farms, no units, all of a sudden you come in with 6 lizards and start wrecking on them. But you, man, actually opened safely here, so kind of just a bit of a counter to Bonk's play. And Bonk's not going to be happy when he comes in here and sees that his opponent's got warrants. Now, if Man's not paying attention or if he's out of position, Bonk still could come in and snipe a pig or two. But this spawn is actually very, very lizard-proof. Lizards kind of want big open areas, where they could do run-around attacks. Like, imagine if Man had spawned here. Then the lizards have the opportunity to swing in this way or maybe up from the top. But Bonk is going to try to go for it. Let's see if he commits. He loses commander. And it might be best for him, however. As squirrels are great on defense, especially when they're in position. If the squirrels were kind of back here, out of position, then Bonk probably could have came in and knocked out a pig. But he's going to back out for now. I think that's the right play. And we're going to take this game into a bit of a more standard early to mid situation. So we'll have to decide where these players want to take the game from here. Is Bonk going to try to take this campfire? He's setting up some mines, and mines are really, like, I've kind of had this meme I've been saying on my channel lately about mines, where, mines are, like, exponentially better when your opponent doesn't know about them, if that makes sense. Like, if Man scouted these mines, like, Man has no idea. There we go. And look at this, the big mine hits, only kills a couple squirrels there. I think he managed to get 3, so still a worthwhile trade for Bonk. But now Man knows that mines are out on the map, so he can kind of play around that a little bit. Now, this is a pretty common opening here from Man, building up some squirrels, getting into some skunks as well. And Bonk has got lizards, though, which are great against skunks. What happened to the Steam stream? Did it die? Am I lagging? Oh my god, I'm lagging. No! Okay. Okay, guys. We will figure that out momentarily. So let us continue for the moment. Actually, I apologize, guys. I might be able to fix this lag real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Let me see if that fixed my frame rate drop. Unfortunately, I don't know if the dual stream is the issue or what, but I am dropping frames. So, let me do a couple things on my end. I apologize. Let me see if that made the stream any better. And we will continue. Okay. Alright, let's keep it going, guys. I'll monitor my frame drops here. Yeah, pause, right? Stop torrenting that TNT fanfiction. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, let me know if it's any better, guys. I think it might be the dual stream. I don't know if my connection is good enough to do that, unfortunately. The question is, am I still dropping frames? Bonk trying to move in over to the side with some Falcons gets pushed back for now as Man is trying to come up into the northern position. Let me ask the old chat. Okay, okay. Sorry about that, guys. And, you know, both players on second bases here, and looks like Bonk is in the lead on that regard. Nobody going up to Tier 3 just quite yet, but Bonk has got an insane amount of Tier 2, man. He dropped all of his Tier 1 and in CN. In lieu of getting up more and more Tier 2. And these Falcons are actually a pretty decent counter to the Skunks, as the Skunks cannot hit up, and the Skunks kind of specialize at dealing with Tier 1. So Bonk kind of identifies, you know what, man, you're going for a lot of Skunks here. I'm just going to drop my Tier 1, get into some powerful Tier 2. Okay, okay, so Bonk has got the Fox on the way. Alright, it looks like my stream is no longer lagging, which is good. So I apologize about that, guys. I do not see my stream on Steam, though. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that, everybody. It looks like we are all systems go now. Okay, okay. So, where are we at in this game? Hey, Thunder Squid, thanks for the host. So Bonk's planting down some more mines here. And, you know, again, if Man doesn't see these mines go down, which he doesn't, you know, they're just so much better. Like, Bonk can try to bait Man into coming in to an attack over here, right? And then just, you know, raffle stomp his army with those mines if he gets the right hits. And the Fox is on the way. Man is getting the Wolf, though, and the Wolf is kind of a vicarious counter to the Fox. You know, the Wolf itself isn't necessarily a counter to the Fox, but the fact that the Wolf makes every other unit move very, very quickly, it can kind of catch up to the Fox. It can't be kited as easily. So we probably got a pretty cool engagement on our hands. I like this from Man, trying to just get out on the map as best he can, but this base is going to be very vulnerable from attack over the cliff here from Bonk with his Fox. Now, the Fox cannot harm a pig while it's still building. When it's building, it's considered a structure. But once those pigs get out, I think, you know, if he puts his Fox right here, he will be in range to snipe the pig. Certainly the middle pig. Alright, so Bonk's got the Fox out, and it's really going to come down to micro at this point. The Fox is very, very micro-intensive unit. So Bonk really needs to be careful with this Fox and use it wisely. Man is now aware of the fact that a Fox is out on the board. And let's see how he decides to respond. He's moving his Falcons over. Those Falcons really need to be careful, man. Foxes just do so phenomenally against Falcons. And third base coming up here for Bonk. And a little bit of fast forward here. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Nice shot there from Bonk. Knocking out that pig. And this isn't totally over for Man. He's just got to hang back and try to deal with it. This is very unadvised, though. The Fox should be able to just deal with these Falcons so easily. Man starts to realize that, backs his Falcons out now. This is not too bad, but the Fox is still such a fast unit. It's going to be able to get over here and kill a couple falcons. Does get a tier 2 Warren, which is nice, and only loses a falcon for it, so not too bad. Now, these falcons are actually going to be very, very good against the fox once the wolf is out. And they're sped up. They deal even more damage. They can get on top of that fox and knock it out with some machine gun fire real quickly. But U-Man still can expand down here, which is nice for him. Really, I feel like if the game continues to move forward here, neither player just kind of wins, then it's really going to come down to who can secure these bases down here in the south. Hey, Vlad Lad in the chat. What's up, my man? Alright, the wolf is out. Let's see if U-Man decides to pull the trigger. It looks like he's just scouting about right now. Wants to see how far Bonk has stretched out onto this map. Gonna move his falcons over to that campfire. This is what I was talking about, man. Those wolf buff falcons just move so quickly. Knock that campfire out in a heartbeat. I was gonna bring those falcons back. Nice micro play there from you, man. Bonk moving in, but is he gonna get flanked here? It looks like it. Bonk's command. Oh no, I thought Bonk's commander died. It looks like it was just a skunk, but no, U-Man tries to retreat, and almost all of his falcons go down. And the Bonker just has so many falcons at this point. He had 12 originally. They're starting to drop as they don't really have much of a front line, but they're getting the damage done. Ooh, and the wolf going down. This might be too much damage. But the Bonk did lose his fox, though, which is a pretty big deal. So both players are a little bit reset. So when you get into situations like this, you kind of want to sell off a couple of your warrens. You see how these warrens up in the top are all in the red? Those mines finally do go off and get some nice value. But if you, man, can knock the space out from Bonk right here, that could definitely put him back in this game. But yeah, the ideal thing to do in this situation, when something's in the red, that means that your warren is just kind of inactive. You don't have enough money to afford production there. So ideally, you want to sell off a couple warrens. That way, the warrens that you do have remaining can actually build stuff, if that makes sense. Okay, Bonk is moving in. He knocks out that wolf while in production. U-Man gets the refund for the building wolf, but not for the warren. It was kind of hard to see, though, and look at that, those poison stacks from the snakes, knocking out the remainder of that gristmill. And is this too much damage? That is so many squirrels. But the tier 2 army from Bonk here is astronomical, and the fox is on the way. I don't think U-Man is long for this world. Taps out. Bonk takes the match. Yeah, sorry for that hiccup, everybody, but I think I solved the issue. We should no longer be dropping frames. I apologize. I'm dual streaming here to Steam and Twitch at the same time, so wasn't sure exactly how my internet would deal with that. But we're getting through it, guys. Let's go to match number 4. All right, spawning in the bottom, we've got HD Broken Wing. And his opponent up top, Pletz Loyal. I think that's Blitzrider, isn't it? I see you in the chat, Blitzrider. Isn't that you? Pretty sure that's you. Blitzrider's a lot easier for me to say than Pletz Loyal. Dude, that sounds like... I feel like that's the name of some, like, pterodactyl variant, right? That's what it reminds me of. Master Stealth says it's him. Okay, good. Alright, what do we got this game? Really cool map. I actually really love the rain tile. I don't know, I'm just a fan of the rain in general. I live in Florida, so it rains all the time. Like, literally the past 2 or 3 weeks, it's been raining every day. So this is refreshing. Look at this. I really like, too, like, I think it was pretty recently, Andy, developer of the game, had kind of put into the map gen algorithm to spawn the different tile sets a bit more often. So we're starting to see more snow maps, more rain maps, things like that. Really cool. And so let's take a look at this map as a game. Actually, you know what? I got to stop my buying time casting here because Blitzrider, a.k.a. Pletz Loyal, is going for an extremely fast tier 2. And this is kind of the map to do it. Like, AC Broken Wing hasn't really been on top of his scouting, but I don't necessarily blame him for that because this map is so large. You know, even if your opponent tried to go for a 5-farm double, if you went the standard 8-farm opening, you'd probably be okay, just because of rush distance, right? But ToothAndTailTV is really taking advantage of this awkward map, man. I am super hyped for this game. So Broken Wing's going to come in here now for the scout. He's going to see Snake. He's going to see a balloon going up at no tier 1. And he's going to be very confused. Now, the reason that ToothAndTailTV here wants to get these snakes up very quickly is he can use these snakes to harass his opponent because one snake hit will deal enough damage over time with the poison to kill a tier 1 unit. So with some good micro, you can kind of just come in and try to tag, as we call it, as many different tier 1 units as possible and get a lot of value. Now, AC Broken Wing kind of has the counter to that, though, in the form of lizards. I feel like lizards do really well against most tier 2. And it's lucky for Pletz here that he hasn't been trying to move out on the map with these snakes, because if he does, those lizards are so fast, man. They will definitely get on top of that snake and rip it apart. Now, Broken Wing is going for a very fast second base, and as Pyle, I think, pointed out in the chat, no, James Bowring did, you know, Pletz really doesn't have a nice expansion here. The best that he's got is this second base that's kind of an island right outside of his main, but the way that the ramps are, it's really awkward to try to get the army over there. I still don't, like, hate this setup for ToothAndTailTV here. It could definitely be worse, but I gotta emphasize how ridiculous this build is from ToothAndTailTV. I really hope, you know, AC Broken Wing should win this game right here, right? Like, this is definitely the response to a very greedy player. Like, ToothAndTailTV went for this balloon, went for all this tier 2, trying to get a tier 3 up. You know, all this tier 1 should really get in here and do a ton of damage. Now, AC Broken Wing's commander went down at the beginning of that fight, though, and that's exactly what ToothAndTailTV needed. It's going to buy him a little more time. Man, if Blitzrider can get away with this, man, it's going to be nuts. But in theory, AC's response here should be able to take it out. We're going to have to see. The balloons are making this harder. The snakes are making it also very difficult, as the snake poison in this phase of the game just knocks out your commander so effectively. But AC just kind of YOLOs his units in there with this commander dead anyways, and gets pushed back. So this is exactly what ToothAndTailTV needed. You know, it's kind of interesting. Like, this shouldn't work, but the fact that these snakes just keep, like, look at this. 2 stacks of poison immediately. Gonna get away with it for now, but if Broken Wing stayed just a little bit longer, that commander definitely would have died again. I really feel like the poison on the commanders is what's keeping ToothAndTailTV alive in this game. You know, if AC Broken Wing didn't lose his commander over and over trying to push into this, he might have broke it. So really cool from Pletz, but not just the snakes, it's the balloons too, right? Like, the balloons are going to do a lot of damage to that commander as well. And now the deed is done, man. ToothAndTailTV has bought himself enough time to get these units that he wanted. So now he's got a Wolf, Owl, Falcon, Snake combination. This is definitely not standard play, man. But Broken Wing is okay. As if he doesn't die to what ToothAndTailTV is doing, he should win this game in the long run, as his economy is just through the roof at this point. He's got a second base more than halfway saturated up, and ToothAndTailTV is running out of food on his main. Alright, Blitzrider trying to move in for some more aggression. These mice are going to get a lot of work done. Trading free units for not free units is always a good thing. Pletz hemorrhages off about 5 or 6 tier 1 and backs out for the time being. Okay, what's the next move for Pletz here, man? He's got to get out on the map and take an expansion, I feel like. Alright, ToothAndTailTV moving in. Needs to be careful. This army here from our yellow player is very expensive. You know, micro is incredibly important here. Ideally, he doesn't want to lose a single unit here besides those free mice. He's got the mice up front to kind of tank and then he's got the Snake, Falcon, Wolf combo to really deal the damage. And his units are just so fast from that Wolf buff, too. Look, the commander goes down again to the Snake Poison. And now it's free reign here for Pletz Loyal. He still hasn't lost a unit. A couple of his Falcons are getting very close, but so much value out of this army for Pletz Loyal to here. And he has enough damage to come in, knock out the second base. He might retreat just for a second into his territory, let his units kind of heal up. He still hasn't lost anything. He might have lost a unit or two earlier on, but... Man, I honestly feel like the Snake Poison on the Commanders was MVP that game. As every time AC Brokewing tried to approach Pletz Loyal's army or base, the Snakes would just knock that Commander out so fast. Really interesting strategy there from Pletz Loyal and wins him the game. Okay, where are we at? Where are we at here? What's up? What's up, Steam people? If you're just joining us, welcome. I am Delthius. I am a caster / tournament host in the Tooth and Tail scene. I run a replay casting show, which you're watching right now every Tuesday and Thursday night. And I've got the privilege of working with Pocketwatch Games here to show off the game a little bit during the Steam sale. So I'm super excited to be here, guys. I hope you enjoy the content, and let's hop into match number 5. Okay, spawning on the left, we've got Daddy James, and his opponent to the right, Kerpa. More Fox play, that's really interesting. You normally don't see Fox this often. Like, Fox is definitely good, but it's not normally super popular. I feel like Fox is better if you're not known as a Fox player, because there are a decent amount of units you can take in your deck to deal with that, right? Like, if you're known to be a Fox player, then your opponent can basically build like an anti-Fox deck and try to knock you out. But now that I think about it, James Bowring, or Daddy James here, is a pretty... I've seen him go Fox fairly often. James has been playing the game, both these players actually, basically since launch, right? I could be wrong. Maybe they joined a little bit after, but these are some pretty old school names here. Both high-level players, so I'm interested to see how this game goes. Now, James is going for a 5-farm double rush. Kerpa went for a safe 7-farm or 6-farm Warren opening. Now he identifies the double tier 1, and he's actually going to try to stay on 7 farms and deal with this with 7-farm double. Now, the Lizards are on the way here from James. If Kerpa can hold this attack and not really take much damage, he's going to be in phenomenal shape, as his economy is going to be a bit ahead of James. James kind of sacrificing that economy a little bit to get this early aggression going. But let's see if James can get anything done. He's going to move in, but Kerpa's in position. Did Kerpa sell that farm, or did he lose it? That was very clutch. I've only casted hundreds of hours of this game. You'd think I'd be better at things like that by now. I want to say Kerpa probably sold the farm. Don't count the foxes premature, says James Bowring. Yeah, man. I know, I always get hyped. Like, I'll be like, all right, we've got to whoop this game or something, you know, and then it turns into a very aggressive, scrappy game where we don't even see Tier 3. That's definitely the case. I think that the better way to think about this game is probably in the Tier 1 and Tier 2 picks. I really feel like Lizard is a bit of a sleeper at the moment. I say that very cautiously, you know. Calling Lizard a sleeper is a hard thing to say, I guess, but as they are pretty popular. But we're kind of in a Tier 2 meta at the moment, where Skunks are really powerful, Ferrets are really powerful, and Lizards just do so good, I feel like, against Skunks in the early game. Same with Ferrets and things like that. Toads coming out here from Kerpa, though. And Toads are a pretty hard counter to the Lizard. They also do fairly well against other Tier 1 and Tier 2. They do pretty high single target damage and some decent splash as well. So it's kind of weird. Like the old Toads back in the day, you'd want to... Like, the Chameleons are coming out for Kerpa here, and the Chameleons are kind of like tanky units on the front line, right? So it used to be you'd want to, you know, kind of lineman block those Toads with your Chameleons, right? But now it's a little bit of the opposite. Like, Toads hitting chameleons is pretty good for the Toads as they trade evenly now, and also do that splash damage around. Now this water is going to be hard to attack into. You see Kerpa's being pretty cautious about it. Kerpa also wants to buy a little time, wait for his chameleons to get up to the front lines. Ideally, the way that Kerpa wants to engage in here is he wants the chameleons to come in first, start tanking the damage to allow the Toads to get into position. Because if you target fire down a Toad and you actually like kill it before it detonates, then it doesn't do any damage. So that's a pretty big counterplay to the Toad. For a little while, the high-level players thought the Toads weren't that great because, you know, like 3 Toads, it's pretty easy to target fire those down. But there's been a little bit of changes made lately to the way that units retreat now. That makes it a bit more advantageous to try to hold your ground rather than retreat, which makes Toads a little bit better. I love this Tier 3 war emplacement here for Kerpa. It's going to be very hard for Daddy James to get in there and scout that. Where did James put down his Fox? Yeah, nice positioning there as well. The Fox is ahead of the Owl here. And the Owl doesn't, like, in 1 or 2 Owls, I feel like the Fox can deal with, especially with a lot of turrets. But once the Owl count gets crazy, that Fox is going to be near useless. Could you make me a mod here too? I would if I could, Premium Bow. I would if I could. Alright, so the Tier 3 is almost going to start production here for Kerpa. The Fox is already on the way here for James. And I would love to see... Alright, so... Chameleons are stealth units, right? You can see him right there with his big nail bat. So there's a little trick, a little tactics play called a chameleon ambush, where basically Kerpa would move the chameleon out to like the middle of the map, and then the Fox would be coming in, la 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 la, and just run right into the chameleons and get wrecked upon very, very quickly. So that's one way you can deal with Foxes, but Kerpa's not aware just quite yet of the Fox coming out for James, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was never able to get in and get that scout. And here we go. The Fox is on the board now. James moving out with it. Now, James has identified chameleons do exist for Kerpa. But he doesn't seem too scared of them yet. Already gets a pig. Chameleon's coming in, but not quite in position. Ooh, needs to be careful. Really trying to get some value out of the Fox. The water is going to be very nice for James here, as those slows down Kerpa's units, but he needs to be careful because that could be a double-edged sword when he's on his retreat, and the Fox would slow down through the water and all the other units kind of catch up to it. Premium Bow Ring. That is a beautiful name. That should be your 2v2 team name. James and Premium Bow. I dig it. Alright, Kerpa moving in for the engagement. Does he have enough here? He needs to get some good Toad connections. So far, they look pretty decent. Oh, man, the Fox barely living. That is huge. The chameleon's falling for Kerpa as well. Overall, that engagement looked pretty decent for Kerpa as the Falcons go down for James, the chameleons go down, but the big story here is that the Fox stayed alive. No pigeons here for James means that this Fox is going to take a little while to heal all the way back up. And you're almost hesitant to go out onto the map with a half HP Fox, you know, because it's just, oh, what if it just barely died, where if it was full HP it would have lived. It could be pretty rough. Oh, the chameleon trap we saw just kind of got activated there. And, oh my god, the mice finished the Fox off. Dude, I gotta watch that. I'm gonna watch that again on the stream delay. I can't believe that. That one little mouse. I would have hyped that up more, you guys, but I didn't think it was gonna happen. That is absolutely insane. As Kerpa gets up to a second owl here. This is starting to not look good for James. James decides to try to get another Fox out, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough. Now Kerpa's got a lot of momentum in this map. He's gonna poke forward with these ferrets. James can kind of try to counter Micro with his Falcons, move them up forward as the ferrets move up forward to try to push them back. Fox number 2 is almost here for James. But owl number 2 is almost here for Kerpa. Owl number 3 is not that far off. But the big story here might be this third base from James. As you can see over here, James has got this third base up and running. Kerpa doesn't have his third base quite yet. But he's got a good bit of money. He's probably trying to save a little bit of that to have that 180 food right when that tier 3 Warren finishes. He moves in for a big engagement here. Gets some decent toad connections. The chameleons are still alive. James is trying to be very careful with his fox, but loses everything else. This might be too much damage as Kerpa is moving in. Kerpa needs to kill James, though. He needs to get some serious damage in here, as James's economy is much better at the moment. And it looks like this is going to be the damage Kerpa's looking for. He gets the gristmill, knocks out a couple Warrens, and is keeping the momentum up, keeping the pressure on. James does snipe an owl there with his fox, which is actually a really big pickup. He snipes the other owl as well, loses the fox for it, but he definitely has got to be happy about that. I wonder if he goes for another fox. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna sell some stuff off to try to afford the fox at this moment. I really like it when players, we get into scrappy positions like this, sell Warrens off. It's better to sell off half your Warrens and get that production going rather than have a whole bunch of Warrens that, you don't have any money to produce units from, right? Dude, very well played from James there. Knocking out those owls. Little bit of lulls here. Oh, is he actually hurting? No, wait, I'm silly. I thought James had chameleons for a second. James just buying time, which is exactly what he needs. Like, Kerpa really needs to be pushing in, but Kerpa wants to wait for his owls. Now, does Kerpa not know about this additional base? No, he's aware of it. I wonder why Kerpa hasn't decided to take his own third base quite yet. Instead, he really just wants to end the game right here, right now. But the fox is here for James yet again. And gonna get to work on these ferrets. Already knocks one out. Tier 2 Warren does go down for the ferret's trouble, however. And is James? I don't know, man. There's some sick toad connections here, maybe, but so much of James's army is in the air at the moment. These toads are not really gonna get a ton done. Is James gonna win this game? I think James is gonna win this game, you guys. I'm telling you, man, I really think it came down to that third base. Kerpa's economy is non-existent now. And look at that big spike for James, and now he's got that nice horizontal line. He's not improving, but it's not going down either, so he's definitely happy about that. James trying to find whatever angle he can for this fox. He probably assumed that third base would be up right here for Kerpa. That's why he kind of ran around this way to try to find some damage. But this is it for Kerpa, man. He's got to win the game right here, right now. I like this attack angle because if James tries to, place his units right here in the pig line, these toads might get a little bit at double dipping. And, deal damage to pigs, deal damage to units at the same time. Kerpa's going to move in onto this base. This is what he needs. The toads, however, are not getting the best connections. He really needed those toads to go off on his opponent's army. Instead, they kind of went off on the gristmill and on the pigs. And is James going to keep this base up? It's so close when it goes down. Kerpa's trying to claw his way back into this game, but loses his entire army. Again, you're going to see James, sell off a couple Warrens. I'd probably sell these turrets too. Yeah, he's going to get that economy going again. Meanwhile, Kerpa's doing the same thing. He's trying to decide what he wants to sell off. Realizes that these toads aren't really doing the best job in the world for him anymore. But here comes the fox, man, and Kerpa's got nothing here to defend against this fox. And as the units trickle out one by one, this is ideal for the fox to get a ton of damage done. This might be too much damage. And let's see, James is going to back out for now. Re-rally his army, let that fox heal up, try to get some economy going again. Kerpa sells the owl. He's going to get whatever he can, man. He's going to have 15 squirrels and 2 chameleons. He's going to try to end the game with it. He wants to move these chameleons up front. He's only got 1, though. I think I got to double check the math after the most recent balance changes and stuff, but it used to be if you have 4 chameleons, you'll one-shot a fox. 2 chameleons will knock it out in two hits each. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but if that's not the case, it's definitely somewhere around there. Ooh, James needs to be careful, man. Now that the Fox is at half HP, just a couple hits from these chameleons will be all that it takes. James is aware of that, though, and backs out for now. Hey, thanks for the follow, Bubba Fett. 2296, I appreciate it, man. Four cams should kill Fox in 1 second. Yes, says Blitzrider. All right. Knew I wasn't crazy. Ooh, man, I missed it looking at the chat. It looks like Kerpa got a successful chameleon ambush off, but didn't quite have enough DPS to finish it off. That Fox lived at 1 HP. That's definitely really rough for Kerpa, man. If that Fox went down, that would have been absolutely enormous here. The Fox is still alive. Kerpa can still get some good chameleon shots off on it, though. He's going to try to target fire it down. It's going to die. But the Falcons in the air might be too much for James. It's going to come down to just a couple units left for James. And Kerpa's got to back out. And I think that's got to be it now, right? Like, Kerpa's just got no economy left. But James did lose the Fox. That's a huge deal. But now James is still up on economy. He's got a better army. If he gives Kerpa some breathing room, though, Kerpa might be able to get back into this. We're approaching a 15-minute game. I love seeing stuff like this, man, when we're like 15 minutes in and both players just have a handful of units, only a couple, farming bases. It's really, really scrappy. It's really cool to see. Not all the time, but you can get into deathball situations, which are still... Deathball is kind of, I guess, got a bad connotation. Is it connotation or annotation? I think it's connotation, right? Got a bad connotation to them, but I really don't think it applies too much in this game. And that is going to be it. James takes a very impressive game, which I thought he was on the verge of losing several times. I still chalk it up to that third base, though, man. If Kerpa could have found a way to squeeze in at third base, somewhere in during the skirmish, maybe he could have come out on top. But even if he did, you never know, man. I mean, James's Fox Micro was on point. He certainly could have just got over that third base and did some work to it, Hey, we got Michi in the chat. What's going on, man? What's up, everybody on Steam? Good to be here, man. So yeah, I run this casting show twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday night, around this time. And basically, anybody can send me replays, man. So if you're a new player, if you want to play some crazy games and send it in, or if you're a high-level player, you can just shoot me emails at ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. I'll normally select around 12-ish for about a 2.5 hour stream. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I thoroughly enjoy it. So if you do pick up Tooth and Tail, or maybe you just recently picked it up, and you're playing on ranked and want a couple tips, man, feel free to send in your replay and I will analyze it. I always get to unique submitters. That's my number one thing. So if you've never submitted before and you shoot me a game, I will most certainly cast it. Anyways, guys, we're getting into match number 6 here, and it's got a number 59 next to it because my chat moderator, Premium Bow 426, aka P Boop, has been sending in 2v2s almost every single show. We're on show number 65, you guys, and this is his 59th submission, so pretty awesome. Premium Bow is kind of the king at 2v2, man. He runs all kinds of crazy strategies, so you never know what's in store. 2v2 is really cool in Tooth and Tail, to be honest. We've had some 2v2 tournaments in the past that were really interesting, so I love kind of having that variety in here. So let's get into it, guys. Match number 6. Okay, spawning the bottom left, we've got Premium Bow and Firmar. And their opponents up top, Blue Coon and Kerpa. Okay, typically in 2v2, I'll refer to the teams as colors. Like, I'll probably say yellow and blue and red and green more than I say people's names. But Premium Bow and Firmar are kind of the OG silly 2v2 players. But speaking of a silly 2v2 here, man, I think this is one of those 1:30 in the morning on Discord. Everybody's super delirious, laughing, having a good time, as we've got... It's definitely an agreed upon game here where all players are going nothing but defense in an owl. So I have no idea what to expect this game, you guys. I would expect nothing less from a Premium Bow 2v2 submission, however. And let's see, both teams for now are just trying to get out on the map. They're going to try to eco up. Kerpa is an absolute madman. He's like, you know what, we're going to play all defense and an owl, right? Look at this too, by the way. Premium Bow tries to snag this campfire thinking it'll be safe, but no, the turret goes down here for yellow, knocks that campfire out. But Kerpa goes for a 4 farm tier 3, guys, which is absolutely ridiculous. But you know, I kind of love it here because owl is considered kind of a late game unit, right? You don't really want 1 or 2 owls, you want 3, 4, or 5 owls, and they're pretty expensive. So if you think about it, the spirit of an owl defense game is like, all right, guys, we're going to kind of not rush each other for the first 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to build up to some bases, maybe get some defense down, and then we're going to get to some owls. Pretty similar stuff coming down here from Fermar as well, except for Fermar snagged a couple maps on that board. What is going on here? We've got some turret defense wars happening. It looks like green and red are going to win that engagement. Nice try there from yellow, trying to get something done. And this hero turret from Premium Bow knocks out a base from his opponents. And this is actually a really great strategy from red and green. They're really, really trying to just gobble up the map, the entire map, as fast as they can. Like, typically, you're not going to take an expansion base until you've saturated your base with all the farms, right? You know, for value. But these gristmills kind of serve a different purpose. These gristmills are just all about map control. They're trying to draw this map, trying to split the battle line very, very favorably for themselves. Now, Blue Coon did sneak out a little expansion over here in the 4 o'clock position. Sneak out's a strong phrase, however, as green and red are aware of it. Look at this, the artillery cannon will take down that turret. That's a very expensive way to do so. But the owl is out here for Kerpa. And this balloon, I didn't think about it. They probably should have banned balloons here or something, right? Because this is going to be nuts, man. I could envision like 10 owls on both teams and like 20 balloons on both teams. It's like, what do we do? I mean, the balloons fire very slowly, so the mice are pretty good to tank that. I love the owl vomiting, man. Tries to get another balloon down, has to sell it off. Blah. More mice are coming in here for Kerpa. Gonna knock out this base from Fermar. Well played. But there's simply nothing that will hit this balloon. The only way that you can take out a balloon from your opponent in this situation is to place a turret. Like, imagine if this base gets taken out, blue or yellow manage to take it, then they can place a turret there and take that balloon out. But that is it, man. Did that artillery cannon actually go down for yellow? I wasn't paying close enough attention. Oh, no, okay. I just watched my replay. I cheat sometimes, man. I'll watch my Twitch stream, and it's got like a 5-second delay on it, so if I miss something, I could look over there. And it does look like yellow did manage to get in there and sell that artillery cannon, get that 180 food refund. Dude, so many owls this game. Blech. Blech. Fermar's moving in, though. Turrets are actually a pretty good counter to owl if you can get a high enough number of them. Like, I'm kind of a fox player, personally, so the turrets are my big answer to owl in my deck. So, you know, if my opponent starts getting to the phase where they have a ton of owls, you know, hopefully I split the map favorably for myself. But that's going to be it for blue, by the way. This push coming in from red and green is too much. Yellow is going to try to build some emergency turrets. I don't think he's going to be very long for this world. And Premium Bow and Fermar should be taking... This is insane. We just now got to the 5-minute mark. And we've seen like 5 or 6 owls this game. That's going to be it. Premium Bow and Fermar take the match. Another crazy 2v2 from P-Boop. Why do people have to have silly names, man? Trying to be classy, trying to be professional. And this guy's gonna make me say Fart Gambler. Match number 7, guys. Okay, spawning on the right, we've got Miss Clicker. And his opponent to the left, Fart Gambler. And I said that without laughing because I am a mature adult. Alright, so Miss Clicker is a pretty great player. He streams fairly often, so check him out on Twitch. And this is kind of that same thing we saw out of the gentleman earlier, where they're trying to solve that issue where the Fox is a super fun unit to play, and it's really strong in the early to mid game, but it falls off later. So Licker instead here is going to go for that Badger rather than the Owl. Now my critique with this is that it can be difficult. Both the Badger and the Fox are very micro-intensive units, so it can be hard to micro both of them in tandem. But that being said, Miss Clicker could still go for an either-or approach. You know, either build the Badger or the Fox. Call them Fun Gambler instead. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Dude, I hope Miss Clicker's watching. That's so funny. Okay, in the Steam chat, Furman says, is Miss Clicker a play off Miss Clicker? Dude, that is so hilarious because a couple shows ago, we actually were trying to come up with a nickname for Miss Clicker, and Miss Clicker came up. And I was like, you're not even going to know if I'm calling you Miss Clicker, right? Like, it sounds the same. You'll have no idea. That's so funny. Parallel thinking in the chat from Furman. That's so good. All right, so what's going on in this game? Nothing crazy. Old Gambler over here is going for the pretty standard 8 farm into 2 tier 1, into a tier 2. And meanwhile, Miss Clicker is just getting some squirrels up, and he's getting this campfire. Now, the campfire is a very big deal in a 1-base situation. If this game kind of stays in the early game phase, or we get into one of those scrappy scenarios where both players are taking a lot of damage, dealing a lot of damage, that campfire can make all the difference. I'm 99% sure the Miss Clicker joke is why he picked that name. It probably is. It might be. That would make a lot of sense. I never personally heard him say it until the other day, and I don't even think it was him that said it. I think someone else in the chat. But Miss Clicker is one of those guys who's super cool, man. He's just going to wait and see how long it takes for us to get it. Now, Fart Gambler here has got a strong army with the skunk. He's moving in. Oh, but the target fire from Licker is phenomenal. Knocks that skunk out immediately. Very important piece of micro. If Miss Clicker did not target fire down that skunk very quickly, this could have been basically the end of the game. Now, does Miss Clicker keep his skunk alive? He does. That's very important as well. He needs to get out of that skunk gas. Nice control so far from Miss Clicker. Gambler loses his second skunk. And this is a very successful hold here for our blue player. And on top of the fact that he knocked out both of his opponents tier 2, he's also got this campfire. I love this positioning on the high ground here of the skunks as well, but is it going to backfire on him as Fart Gambler is moving around to the side? It is going to kill these skunks very, very quickly. That was one of those like cool on paper but bad in practice things from Miss Clicker. I give him style points for trying that. I would have tried that too. It just unfortunately didn't work out so well for him. And now Gambler's coming back here. He's going to take out this campfire. He just won a very successful engagement. Incredibly back and forth, aggressive game with a lot of micro, really deciding the fate of these battles. I love seeing stuff like this. Gambler's moving in again. Miss Clicker's commander is not in position, so he's going to be able to snipe that Warren. He's just going to back out for now. I like this play a lot. It's very easy to overextend, but he kind of gets a read on Licker's army here and realizes, you know what, I might have enough to push in, trying to target fire down that skunk. Doesn't quite get it, though. These pigeons are really making a big difference here in this engagement for blue. And that skunk gas is just getting so much damage done to the rest of Gambler's units. However, he does keep the one skunk alive. That's very important. No pigeons here for Gambler. It's starting to make me a bit worried for him as that skunk's going to go down to some gas from its opponent. And the dance continues. Gambler's got a lot more tier 1 than Miss Clicker does, but Miss Clicker is starting to trade very effectively, knocking out skunks, but Gambler Does get a skunk of his own there. This other skunk is still alive. This is rough. Like, Gambler might actually be in the lead here. The fact that he took out that campfire was actually huge, and he sniped that one warren earlier. He's going to come over to the side and snipe another. That's a very nice play. Gonna lose his army for it, however. And that might be what Misclicker needs to get back into this. Now, keep in mind, guys, at the 5-minute mark of the game, your first 4 starting farms mine out. So those are gone. Our economies are split in half. Neither player has an expansion, as it's been a very, very scrappy game. Liquor did try to take that campfire, and he mined off it for maybe a minute or two, but yeah, it was still worth it. Like, he held it for long enough, but the rest of these farms are going to be farming out relatively soon. But it looks like Misclicker has broken the back of his opponent, who tries to take a gristmill and is really going to get punished for it, man. He needs every bit of food that he can. And just those little engagements all game long, where Liquor would net a squirrel or two, really paid off for him, and he takes the match. Hey, thanks for the follow, Colt47. I appreciate it, man. Dude, that was a phenomenal game. That was some very impressive play. Speaking of phenomenal games, I'm excited for this next one, you guys. Amishtria is a newer player, but she plays fairly often, and she's gotten quite good. And the Gentleman is one of the best players in Tooth and Tail, arguably the best European player, for sure. So really excited for this. All right, spawning in the bottom, we've got the Gentleman, and his opponent up top, Amishtria. I like this a lot too, because it's almost like coach versus up and comer here, because Amishtria has mentioned a few times she really likes the Gentleman's play style. She's learned a lot from watching his games, and in my replay casting show and in tournaments and things like that. So kind of cool, kind of the Padawan, against the master here. So let's see how these players decide to open up. Squirrel Lizard for both players. Gentleman is really well known for his lizard play. Lizards are a really interesting unit in Tooth and Tail. They're very mobile. They'll trade pound for pound against squirrels in an open engagement. Like, it's interesting. Like, if squirrels are all hunkered down, right, in the pig line, maybe with a couple warrens in front of them, they're going to do great against the lizards because they have superior range. But if it's an open field, right, and it's 6 lizards versus 6 squirrels, the lizards will win that fight every day of the week. And Amishtria is going for a 6-farm double here, which is an aggressive opening. Gentleman identifies it immediately. I'd love to see how he responds, as this opening is designed specifically to punish the 8-farm opening. Gentleman does not actually respond to it, surprisingly, and just plays standard. But Amishtria actually tech switched out of it. So she had the 6 farms and then double warren, and then she sold one of them to get her economy going. I guess she changed her mind about the attack. And we're going to stabilize here. Now, the Gentleman should be just slightly, barely ahead in the income. As you can see, his income got going just a little bit faster, but it's not going to matter too much. It just means the Gentleman's going to have a little bit more food to work with in the early game here. But the longer the game goes on, the less and less that's going to matter. Especially if Amishtria manages to take this campfire here. And I love, like, taking campfires. I wouldn't even hate Amishtria, taking this campfire as well, because since she has a lizard, she's got the map control. And another thing I really like about lizards at the moment is they're a nice anti-meta pick, because the meta at the moment, like, if you're a new player to Tooth and Tail, maybe you just pick the game up while it's on sale or something. Hold that thought. We got Amishtria jumping in here. She's gonna get a warren. She's gonna get a pig, and she's gonna back it. She's gonna lose all her lizards for it, but still a wonderful trade for Amishtria there. Now, this is the threat, however, of what Amishtria just did, is that Gentleman has an opportunity to counterattack. He flirted with the idea of going back, but he's gonna come in for the engagement. Amishtria doesn't quite have a high enough lizard number. It was like 5 lizards against 8 squirrels, but with the reinforcing lizards, and look at this, man. This is what I'm talking about. Like, lizards just do so well against squirrels. Amishtria holds that counterattack off, and now she's in a fantastic position. But the Gentleman's economy is actually starting to get out of control. Gentleman's pretty well known as a macro player. Ooh, and Amistra didn't quite get the scout off on that base. She's going to see it now, though, which is good for her. She's going to try to attack into these Warrens, which is possible with Lizards, but you really need to target fire down your opponent's squirrels as best you can. She does some nice target fire down there, but again, the defender's advantage is totally huge in this game. Yeah, the point I was going to make earlier, I feel like a Lizard opening is a very anti-meta pick right now, because kind of the meta, and again, if you're a new player, maybe you just pick the game up, you want to hop on ranked and not sure what to do, I would highly recommend going for like Squirrel, Pigeon, Skunk. It's a very nice, powerful opening, but Lizards do great against that. Lizards will beat the Squirrels and will get on top of the Skunks and knock them out before the gas clouds do too much damage to them, and since they're so fast, the gas doesn't matter so much. But as you can see, the Gentleman is aware of that, and he did not, like, Gentleman probably planned on getting a fast Skunk, right? That's probably what he wanted to do with this deck, but he delayed that Skunk, knowing that the Lizards were out for Amistra, and that was not going to be a good trade for him. But now that he's got a ton in Tier 1, he feels more confident starting to get up to those Tier 2. I'm worried for Amistra here, though. She got some decent damage done with that first engagement, deflecting that counterattack. That next push in was a bit of a mistake for Amistra, I feel like, and Gentleman won that engagement. But the real story here is the Gentleman has just had such a wonderful economy for so long, and now finally Amistra is catching up on her income. I mean, but look at that. For about 2 minutes there, the Gentleman was out mining Amistra pretty hard. I love this barbed wire too, by the way. I love like really minimalistic uses of defense. Like just these few pieces of barbed wire are really going to be a pain for the Gentleman. And this is that tanking I was talking about earlier, where when you have some healers, you can kind of just let these Skunks take some damage and heal them up. But he needs to be careful. He's going to... Oh, man, the Skunk gets down to 2 HP. Amistra jumps into this fight, but I don't think she's got enough. The thing about having nothing but Lizards is that you're either going to, like, win the fight super hard or lose the fight super hard, right? There's not a whole lot of in-between. And this might be too much damage as the Gentleman is moving forward, just really showing you the power of this macro style of kind of, holding on. Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of damage, but my economy just gets so far in the lead. And this might be all she wrote. Amistra might be tapping out here shortly. This should be game. There we go. Amistra taps out. Gentleman takes the game. Hey, what's up, Beer in the chat? How's it going? Okay. Alright, I need to grab a beverage real quick. I will be back in just a second. I'm drinking coffee. I'm gonna stay up late and not get a bunch of sleep tonight, so I can be nice and energetic for you wonderful nerds online. Alright, be back in just a sec. Okay, I'm back, you guys. I decided another cup of coffee was probably too ridiculous, so I got a wonderful glass of ice water instead. I'm feeling quite refreshed. So let us continue the show. Welcome to the show, everybody on Steam. Good to have you guys. If you enjoy this content, man, I have tons and tons of VODs. I do this show twice a week. 8 p.m. EST Tuesdays and Thursdays. Anybody who wants can just submit me replays, and then I talk about them because I really enjoy talking about this game. Alright, guys. Let us hop into match number 9. Okay, spawning at the bottom, we've got Protocam. And his opponent up top, Boofy. Alright, I'm keeping my eye on Protocam in this early game as he does have the moles. And the moles cost 60 food. You can build them anywhere on the map. They build pretty quickly. And you see them utilized. Like, Protocam might try to sneak a couple moles over here and do an attack. It looks like that's what he's going for. So there it is. And he's even going to go home, queue up another farm, it looks like, and try to get back over in time to micro this mole. I like that a lot. Keep his economy going. Now, did Boofy scout the mole? I don't think he did. He might have. I think he must have, because he started building that warren. But a single mole is just going to force some sales. Boofy's got to cancel a couple things, adjust his build. You kind of see this variant of the mole rush pretty often in today's meta, and it's basically designed to just kind of throw your opponent off guard. Like, if they don't scout it, you can get an absolute ton of damage done. And if they do scout it and they respond correctly, either by selling things or throwing down a turret or something like that, you can just kind of throw somebody off their rhythm. Now, this is a decent investment here for Protocam, as he's going to want this mole to heal back up to full HP before he can sell it off. So he's kind of got like 60 food floating for a little while. And mainly what it netted him, it looked like Boofy had to sell a farm for reduced price. So he got 20 food off of that. And just kind of getting in Boofy's head a little bit, throwing him off his rhythm. And he's going to actually go into a fast tier 2 off the back of this. Now, 8 farm into 1 tier 1 into tier 2 is fairly greedy. If your opponent scouts that and just builds like 4 or 5 tier 1 warrens, they can possibly run in and get some damage done before those tier 2s are finished, especially with lizards like this. But the way that Protocam's base is, where he's kind of got this nice pocket base in a sense, he's up on the high ground, he doesn't have too many entrances, he can kind of hunker down fairly well, and those lizards are not going to be that great in a situation like this. So Boofy just backs off for now. It looks like Boofy is going hard on the lizards, man. Lizards are a pretty cool unit because I feel like it's like one unit of your deck just opens up so many possibilities, right? Like 3 to 6 lizards could be used to do 2-pronged attacks. Like, let's say the main armies. Oh, hold that thought. It looks like Boofy is moving out here. He wants to bait Protocam out of his base. Like, Boofy's just basically saying, come at me, bro. You know, Boofy doesn't necessarily want to attack in here because the defender's advantage is very strong. But he wants Protocam to move out and pounce on top of him. But, yeah, I love this, too, by the way. You can be a bit more aggressive with your campfires when you're the lizard player because you've kind of just got more map control by the speed of your units. But, this big lizard pack is nice, and it can work very well. But I prefer to see like 3 to 6 lizards that can kind of, just attack an expansion. Like, imagine Protocam has this base, right? And there's a big attack going on here. Boofy can just send just a couple lizards over there, knock that base out. But Protocam's pulling the trigger, man. He's making some moles, which is basically a huge indicator that he wants to be aggressive. He wants to engage and deal a lot of damage. These moles weren't quite on the front lines, though. Those chameleons did phenomenally in that engagement. I feel like chameleons just do pretty good against lizards in general. And these moles are still kind of full HP. If I was going to critique Protocam here, I'd say he definitely wants these moles to be up front before he moves in, and they basically are, so that's fine. That's a lot of lizards, but Protocam's got some good momentum here. If Boofy has difficulty targeting these falcons down, these falcons can deal a ton of damage. And Boofy's kind of backed in the corner, man, and now Protocam's getting some real damage done. I'd almost like to see Boofy just run around and try to snipe Protocam's main base and get into a base race scenario there. But it looks like Protocam is going to have enough Ooh, he's overextending a little bit, but he's gotten so much damage done. I think he's okay with it. All right, this chameleon getting a lot of work done. Goes down, but it's kind of gladly sacrificed. Like, you really want to keep your tier 2 alive. Chameleons are a little bit of an exception to that rule, as they're kind of meant to be frontline bruisers. But if you're really slick, you can kind of tell them to back off when they're low HP and have them re-stealth. But it's not necessarily necessary, and especially in situations like this. Like, Protocam is just trying to shove in, man. He doesn't even care anymore. Gets the damage done. Knocks Boofy out, takes the match. Okay. Where are we at? Man, we were flying through these replays. I'm glad I threw a couple extra on the docket tonight. Match number 10, guys. Okay, spawning on the left, we've got Cold Warp Gates. And his opponent to the right, Protocam. I didn't realize we had 2 Protocam games back to back. I apologize. Normally I'll try to space them out a bit better than that. Cold Warp Gates is a newer player. I believe he got into the game during the free weekend that recently happened for Tooth and Tail on Steam. And I'm interested to see how he wants to play it. He's going for the Fox, which is really cool to see, kind of my style. I really enjoy the Ferret-Fox turret combination. I just think it's a lot of fun. Kind of set up a front line that you can retreat back to if things get too dicey and poke your opponent to death. And Protocam is running something pretty similar as to what we saw in the previous match with the squirrels, with the moles, and a lot of tier 2 here. No chameleons this time, though. This is a bit of an interesting map. A double proto attack. Yeah, like, oh, that mole was so far away. And Cold Warp Gates is not home to sell these building pigs. He's gonna get the crit damage on that one. Knocks it out, and he's gonna get this mole back out in time. That is absolutely ideal. All the mole players in the chat are going crazy. That's exactly what you're looking to get done there. And unfortunately for Cold Warp Gates, he was just kind of out on the map, scouting about, and wasn't able to take that mole. Really, what you do in those situations is sell off those building pigs there. But since Cold Warp Gates was, getting a lay of the land, scouting out everything, he wasn't able to do so. So well done there for Protocam. And I like this response from Protocam as well. He's building his Warrens basically as aggressively as he can to minimize the re-rally distance, right? So it's interesting. Protocam saying, okay, I've got some momentum, I've got some tempo from getting that damage done to Cold Warp Gates in the early game. I'm gonna try to double up on that. And he doesn't even sell this mole, which I think is correct, because this mole is going to do great in this engagement. But as I say that, the mole kind of goes down for free there. I guess Protocam did get a tier 1 Warren, unless Cold Warp Gates sold it. I'm watching my instant replay. Okay, he did sell it. He got 43 food back. The engagement's going to go down. Some nice target fire here from Cold Warp Gates. Both players really with some decent target fire. Cold Warp Gates ends up coming out on top, though. So in these small squirrel engagements like this, micro and control are actually very, very critical. If it's 12 squirrels versus 12 squirrels and one player is focus firing down the other player's squirrels, who is not focus firing, the player's focus firing will win very, very handily. Man, that was a terrible sentence. I am sorry, guys. But Cold Warp Gates, now he's got the tempo, now he's got the momentum, and he's pushing in. And these aggressive Warrens are backfiring a little bit as Protocam, as they're not being defended. Protocam sees the writing on the wall, realizes he's starting to take too much damage, and taps out. Short and sweet game, man. All right, where are we at? Okay, match number 11. Let's get into it. Okay, spawning on the left, we've got Sheer. And his opponent to the right, the red dinosaur. Alright, we see some wolf, we see some owl. Ooh, okay, I got a last minute submission from Mishi. Oh, we're doing really good on time. I might throw that in. Did Midgar, I don't know if you're still watching Midgar, but if you are, might be able to get to your game as well. Let's see. Okay, maybe, I think this is you, right? Perhaps, perhaps not. Alright, anyways, let me pay attention to what I'm doing here instead of browsing my inbox. Alright, so we see some aggressive openings here. 5 farm more in from Red Dino, 5 farm double actually. And Sheer is going for, looked like a 5 or 6 farm more. And now is he going to sell off a farm and go for a second warren? No, it looks like he's going to just try to go 7 farm versus 5 and get a delayed second warren out. So Red Dino really needs to get some damage done with this attack. Otherwise, Sheer's economy is just going to be pretty significantly ahead going into the early game. But we're going to have 4 to 5 squirrels versus 2 if Red Dino moves out now. But no, instead, he's just going to try to claim this high ground. Oh, man. Oh, man, you guys. It would be so dirty, but imagine if Red Dino builds a balloon right there. I don't know if you can. I don't know if it's good. But, man, I would love to see it. Sheer's moving out. This would definitely be Red Dino's chance to strike, but he doesn't take advantage of it. And now Sheer's squirrel numbers are starting to become comparable to what Red Dino's got out on the map. And Sheer's also got a little bit of a better economy, so keep that in mind as well. And Sheer's coming in. Nice target fire from both sides, but Red Dino is gonna take it. Hey, Midgar in the chat. Yeah, man. If you do email me a match, I could probably get to it tonight. We'll see. I guess I don't want to make too many promises. But Red Dino is still getting this high ground, and now he's starting to put Sheer into a bit of a soft contain. It's nothing crazy. There's no balloons out, no turrets or anything like that. But Sheer's definitely got to be on edge. But the real story, I feel like, is the income difference. I probably should leave that graph up for a little bit longer than a split second. But, Sheer didn't take his 8th farm either. If he did, then it would be much more significant of a difference here. Granted, Sheer does have this campfire he just got cooking here recently, so that's going to give him a nice edge. Red Dino coming back home, going to finally take that 8th farm. Ooh, the Toads getting into the mix, though, as well as the Skunks. This is really going to come down to engagement angle and micro. If those Toads get some good connections, they could definitely win the fight, but this composition is definitely going to be in Sheer's favor. Red Dino's got a little bit of money. What's he going to go for? Some chameleons here. Some good, definitely good unit to try to get in on those Skunks and knock them out. But skunk number 1 is here, and with that, Sheer's going to move out. Now these Toads connect. 2 of the Toads get target fire down. Very impressive there for Sheer. That's exactly what he needed to move forward with the skunk and get some of the hurt on to Red Dino's army, but he might be overextending as this re-rally from Red Dino is very, very close by. Nice Toad detonation there for Red Dino. But the skunks still remain, and those are the big issues. Just really dealing a ton of damage to Red Dino's tier 1 line here. And now Sheer's got a lot of momentum. Nice control on these skunks, bringing them forward, letting them tank a little bit of damage, but not losing them. One gets down pretty low, though, and does eventually die. And a nice Toad engagement there for Red Dino. Ooh, if that other skunk goes down, that's very, very huge. Keeps it alive for now. Oh, the hero Toad. Toad Magoat. Nice hit. The skunk lives, though, which is very nice for Sheer. Now, does Red Dino keep the tier 2? It looks like he thought about selling it, but he's going to hang on for now. Keep in mind, guys, we're almost at that 5-minute mark, so economies are about to start tanking. And Sheer's getting a lot of damage done. Oh, no, this is bad for Red Dino. He can't lose all these warrants. Very nice Toad engagement there. Looks like another great hit. And Red Dino is going to start pushing Sheer back. Alright, Sheer is moving in yet again. But now the Chameleon is here, and the Chameleons do very, very well in scrappy little tier 1 fights like this. So Sheer definitely needs to be careful. Now, Shears does have the income lead. I'd love to see Red Dino try to take a second base at this point. I think he's done a good job defending these Warrens, but I really don't like that he's moving his units away. Oh, he's trying to get his units back into his territory to heal him up. That makes sense, as a lot of his units are pretty bruised. But at this point, he almost might be better off selling those Warrens, because every time he tries to leave, Sheer is going to be right on top of those Warrens. And losing Warrens, man, I remember when I first started breaking into kind of like high-level play, you know, I'd fight strong guys like Pyle or Swifty or Gentleman or Mishi, and I would lose, and I'd just like not understand why. And then I'd watch the replays and really examine it, and it was because, you know, we trade like pretty evenly, but, you know, they would get a tier 1 Warren here and there. You know, not a whole lot, just maybe 2 or 3 over the course of the game, but it really adds up, man. You know, having to re-put down that 60 food just to be where you were and not really advance forward, if that makes sense, is absolutely devastating. So Red Dino concedes that map position, packs up, and sets shop back up at home. And Sheer claims the high ground. Okay. Alright, so this is actually a really cool game so far. It's been super scrappy, and we've kind of devolved back to these low numbers. I love seeing stuff like this. You know, 7 minutes into the game, right? And we've got, what, 18 squirrels and 2 skunks total. You know, so both players are really in the Stone Age still. And Sheer's economy is going to start getting ahead. I know right now it says Red Dinos is ahead, but that's because his main base is still mining a little more than Sheer's is, but that's going to farm out here shortly. Nice attack here coming in from Sheer. Gets that Warren, and like I said, man, just getting a Warren every now and then really, really adds up. And the fact that Sheer got out of there with this tier 2 is huge. Like, when you've got tier 2 units, I know I don't want it to sound like too much of an obvious statement, but, you know, when you've got Squirrel Skunk, the #1 priority is keeping your skunks alive, right? Like, squirrels are disposable, man. They're your frontline kind of meat shield, bread and butter kind of unit. You lose a couple squirrels, no big deal, but you really want to keep those skunks alive. Now, I don't want to go too far with that you lose a couple squirrels, no big deal statement, because you can lose games from just, you know, hemorrhaging off too many tier 1 compared to your opponent. If your opponent's really taking efficient trades against you, yeah, they might not be killing your skunks, but they keep killing 5 or 6 squirrels and only losing a couple, then that's definitely going to cascade into their advantage. Now, I love the direction that Red Dino is taking this game. Ferret Squirrel versus Skunk Squirrel is a really fun matchup, in my opinion. I'm kind of more on the Ferret side of it. You know, on paper, the Skunk should take the engagement pretty handily, but if you've got really good Ferret control, man, and you can get in there and take a lot of pop shots, you know, get a few early squirrel hits, you know, maybe even land a couple cannonballs onto those skunks and weaken them up, finish them off with your squirrels, the Ferret player can win this engagement. It's kind of strong to say that it's favored towards skunk. Like, I feel like it is favored towards skunk a little bit, but not by a ton. And this is exactly what you need to be doing as a Ferret player. You see Red Dino just coming in, like he just picked off a squirrel right there for free, you know? So you're just trying to come in micro and take out as many units as you can. And then the opponent, you know, if you notice when the Ferret fires, there's a little red circle in the ground, so the opponent can kind of do what we call like a Ferret dance and try to keep his units alive as you see him kind of shuffling units there. But even still, like 2 more squirrels go down. A 3rd squirrel, so that's 4 squirrels that these Ferrets have killed. And when you're under fire like this, most of the time the right move, you know, Sheer really needs to be doing 1 or 2 things. He needs a hard engage and just say, you know, I'm not going to play this game where you kill a squirrel every now and then for a couple minutes and then engage into me when I've been softened up. Or Sheer can keep his squirrels back here and just micro his skunks to keep the Ferrets at bay. That'll be a bit easier to not lose anything. The Falcons are a fantastic unit to keep Ferrets at bay as well. I'd like to see Sheer, unless he's going to hard engage, kind of move the rest of his army back and move his falcons forward to deal with those ferrets. But here we go. He decides for a big engagement, and this is where the skunk is more powerful with the right connections. So far, this looks great. Did Red Dino sell that balloon, or did that balloon actually die? I'm watching my instant replay here. Ooh, no, that balloon actually died. That's very, very big. That's 120 food. Red Dino deflects Sheer back for now. Oh man, I'm trying to read my chat, but I'm so bad at it, you guys. Like, if I read the chat, then I'll just get quiet. Like, it's a lot easier when I have a co-caster, right? Because then I'll read the chat while the other guy's talking. But then you can catch yourself in bad positions where I was zoned in on the chat and didn't really hear what my my co-caster said, you know? And then I'm just like, yeah, exactly, great point. I just gotta play it off. All right, this balloon is a big deal if Red Dino can get it down. But Sheer's economy is getting good, and another balloon dies. But while Sheer was target firing that balloon, Red Dino was target firing the rest of Sheer's army. And now Red Dino's got a lot of momentum. Pushing in here, gonna deny this third base, and he should be able to get on top of these tier 2 units of Sheer. Target fire these down. No, he's gonna back up for now. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Let his units come home, heal up for a second, you know, get his army going again, and then keep the pressure on. That was a nice pickup for Red Dino. Instant replay, what is this? Source 3 says do. So my instant replay, quote unquote, is since I have my Twitch page up, right, to keep up with the chat, I can see the game, and the game's on like a 5-second delay compared to what I'm actually doing. So then I can just watch it again real quick. Okay. Balloon gets up here for Red Dino. I don't feel like he needs a balloon at this point, though. I think he needs to go hard, man. I think he needs to just rally into Sheer's face and try to end this game. But as I say that, you know, he's not as ahead as I thought he was. Looking at the unit count, Sheer's actually got more numbers here. Sheer's moving in for the push, and this balloon is getting a lot of work done. Again, Sheer tries to target fire, and it ends up just tanking and stays alive. Sheer's Falcons go down. Now Red Dino is coming in for the big counter push. He doesn't feel like he's got enough to really end the game yet, but Sheer decides he does. Taps out. Red Dino takes the game. Okay. Okay. Where are we at? What are we doing? A balloon tanked, triggered. It did tank, man. That was some balloon tanking. I never thought I would say that. Alright, guys. We are going to go into another Amicia vs. Gentleman game, round number 2. Let's hop into it in match 12. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got the Gentleman. And his opponent up top, Amicia. Alright, Gentleman rocking this Owl Fox style again. It worked out fairly well against him previously tonight. Let's see if he can make it happen again. And meanwhile, Amicia is running a fairly standard deck. She really likes her barbed wire, though. So that is indeed here. And she's still got the lizards as well. So that gives her some counterattack option. Now, last time, Amicia just really went super hard on the lizards, but you don't have to do that. A lot of times what you'll see players do is go for like a squizzard combination, squirrel lizard, right? Get about 9 of each of them, and you have a nice army. It can be a little, you got to be careful with it though, because the lizards move faster than the squirrels, right? So you want to make sure to wait on your squirrels. Otherwise, you can just kind of run in with your lizards and then run in with your squirrels, and your opponent just fights half your army at once, man. I've definitely made that mistake a couple times. But yeah, I mean, lizards can serve a lot of purposes. Again, you could just go super, super heavy on lizards and try to win the game that way. by being mobile, by trying to strike your opponent when they move out on the map. You go for that more standard of a Squizzard combo. I really like to see players build just like 6 or 9 lizards and do little runaround attacks. Really take advantage of their mobility. But I think one of the coolest things that having lizards in your deck allows you to do is a big tech switch in the late game. And I'd love to see that in a replay tonight to showcase it off to you Steam guys. Because in Tooth and Tail, you get a full refund, right, for everything. So Mishra could sell off these Squirrel Warrens and get her a full refund for all the units and the Warren, as long as it's at full HP. So what you'll see players often do is, like, the game's kind of going, and everything's cool, and it's back and forth, pretty even, whatever, and then all of a sudden, one of the players sells off, like, everything and just builds, like, 50 lizards. And you can really catch somebody off guard doing a strategy like that. Gentleman, with a very, very quick gristmill. I think this is a very textbook opening here from the Gentleman. 2 tier 1 Warrens, a tier 2 off of 8 farms into a fast expansion. And this is a nice defendable position for the Gentleman. It's going to be difficult for Mishra to come in and break this. But Mishra is actually taking a proxy gristmill here. Maybe trying to take advantage of the fact that the Gentleman is already investing in eco and she's got a little bit more money to spend in her army. However, she has made 120 food worth of eco investments at this point compared to the 180 of the Gentleman. 240 if you count that turret as well. Oh, look at this. Some barbed wire coming up here for Mishra. Is Gentleman going to try to get on top of this? He decides not to. In this game, Gentleman does not have the pigeons to easily deal with this barbed wire. So this could be quite a big nuisance for the Gentleman moving forward in this game. Mishra pointing out barbed wire can be used as a sentry. Absolutely, man. Especially in those situations where your opponent's got the lizards, right? Like, imagine the Gentleman's got barbed wire. You could just place, like, one piece right here to give him vision of a lizard attack coming in. Like, vision is so important in Tooth and Tail because positioning is so important in Tooth and Tail, man. That's one of the big vicarious benefits of the balloon. Like, the balloon is a pretty strong unit, does a lot of damage. It can be a pain to deal with, but it also just grants you so much vision, man. And just that extra second or two of heads up to get your army in the right spot can be very, very crucial. The Mishra are going for a fast owl, but the Gentleman's going for a fast 3 owls. It's actually crazy. Like, this is a really good response from the Gentleman. This is actually very bold from the Gentleman, to be perfectly honest. Like, he's really doesn't have anything here. He's got, what, 6 squirrels and 2 skunks, and now lots of turrets to try to hold on as he got up to a fully saturated second base extremely quickly and 3 owls to boot. And these owls will be a good way to deal with this barbed wire here, as the mice will trade effectively against that barbed wire, obviously, as the mice are free units. And dude, this style from Gentleman is looking very, very strong. Like, this is crazy. Does Mishra see it coming is the question. She hasn't scouted at tier 3. And another added benefit here of all these turrets is that it's going to be really difficult for Mishra to get in there. I feel like Mishra is making... I don't know how I didn't notice that. Okay, so Gentleman did have a decent economy advantage for a while, but Mishra did get the memo, rather, and went super hard on a base herself. So now she's got the income advantage. She's trying to catch up in the owl count. The Gentleman's going to take that base over there. See, this is where lizards would be fantastic. If Mishra scouted this base out and just sent like 3 or 6 lizards over there, doesn't move her whole army or anything. Now these mice are eventually going to bust all this barbed wire. It would be nice for Mishra to get in here and sell this off, but even if she can't, it's really not the end of the world, as barbed wire is pretty cheap. Another thing is, too, that skunks deal very well against opponents' mice. Like, Skunk Falcon is actually a great combo in Owl versus Owl War, because the Falcons, once you get a really big flock of them, you can start target firing down your opponent's owls, and then the skunks just do great AoE gas, kind of tank a little bit on the front lines, help deal with those mice. So many turrets here from the Gentleman. Oh man, this base. It's such a risky base. I like it a lot, to be honest, because if Amicia doesn't scout it, then he's kind of taking the riskier base earlier on, right? And then the other base that's a bit closer to him is saved for later in the game. It's kind of a double-edged sword, but it really depends on how you want to play. I think there's merit to either style. This is kind of the high-risk, high-reward style the gentleman's going with. Like, okay, if I can get away with this base right now, later on this base will be easier to defend. But if Amicia did scout this and just sent like 6 or 9 squirrels over there, that could really be devastating for the gentleman. Hey, thanks for the follow, Threndos. I appreciate it, man. I don't have my follower alerts. Normally I have like a cool little alert going on. I didn't set that up tonight, though. So I will just have to thank you myself, my man. Alright. We're getting up to crazy numbers of owls, so this is going to be an owl versus owl game. And right now it looks like it's in the favor of the gentleman, as it's going to be difficult for Amicia to really take this base any further. As you can see, it's just kind of in constant fire from gentleman's mice here. So any farms that Amicia throws down here are going to be immediately at risk. Whereas the gentleman's got basically access to 4 base here, right? Where Amicia's really only got access to 2.5. Oh, is Amicia gonna scout it? No! She really needed to scout that base, but she's moving over from the side as these mice are just coming in and getting on top of all the infrastructure. She's gonna go for it, though. Gonna take a fight under all these turrets, and that's not gonna work out well for her. The gentleman's mice are still wreaking havoc over in the main base of Amicia. This is really getting rough here for Amicia. She's going to stick into the game for now, but I think the gentleman is at an incredible advantage at this point. If she only knew about this base, man, she could have got in there and knocked that out. That's super unfortunate. Ooh, even taking out that base as well. Blah, 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 blah. So many mice, dude. Going up to 8 owls total. The gentleman is absolutely a macro machine this game. Amicia's holding on, though. Don't count her out, man. She can still win this game if the gentleman overextends or gets out of position or gets us into a weird base race situation. But all these turrets are really kind of the unsung hero against owls, I feel like. You know, you get up enough turrets, they can really, really deal with those mice pretty effectively. Falcons are but a meme. Falcons are a meme as a meme. Dude, Falcons are good. I think a lot of tier 2 is good right now, but you know, Falcon at high numbers like this, man, can really put in a lot of work. Falcons can also be very surprisingly powerful in the early game. If you can keep them alive, they will put out just a ton of DPS. But I think Gentleman's kind of got Amicia in the stranglehold, unfortunately. A little bit of bad map RNG for Amicia here as well, as she doesn't really have access to a nice 3rd or 4th base. You know, Gentleman really didn't either, but he put in a lot of work, gaining all this map control, kind of doing the sleight of hand move like a magician, right? Like, hey, focus on over here on the shiny thing while I put this base in my pocket, you know? But let's see, Amicia is holding on. Gonna get up another owl here. And the Gentleman's got the superior owl numbers, got the superior mice numbers, and is moving in. Let's see if he's gonna hard commit here. He's kind of got that triple triad of Falcon, Owl, Skunk. I think a very, very powerful Owl late game composition. As now the Falcons are starting to get to work on all of Amicia's Owls. And that's just gotta be too much damage. I imagine Amicia is gonna be tapping out here shortly. Look at all those mice, man. That's gonna be the game. Gentleman takes the match. Really showing you how to macro up in that owl playstyle. No tap out, says Amisria. Dude, Amisria never taps out, man. She stays in till her last breath. Okay, game number 13. Let us hop into it. Okay, spawning on the left, we've got Mana Shrimp. And his opponent to the right, Red Dino. Alright, they're going heavy tier 1 Fox style. Man, I like this a lot. This is kind of my play style as well. I like going... One of my go-to decks is kind of like Squirrel, Toad, Pigeon, Ferret, Fox, Turret. I really like that setup a lot. It's hard, man. Like, so many units are so good. It's really interesting to try to come up with your own deck and your own combination. Like, Pigeons are very powerful at the moment for several reasons. I like them in my deck, or for example, in... Oh, I didn't mean to times two it there. For example, in Red Dinosaur's deck, where, especially with the Fox, you need to make sure you have some kind of unit that's giving you high ground vision. And in this case, it's the Pigeons here from Red Dino. You can see in decks where you might take the Falcon with the Fox, you can kind of get away with not using the Pigeon, but I still kind of prefer the Pigeon over the Falcon as it's a little more expendable, it's a lot cheaper, easier to get out. But as I've been kind of blabbering on here, we got a 5-farm double from Red Dino. Mana Shrimp scouts it out, though, and acts accordingly. Let's see if Red Dino is going to be able to get any damage done. Really, all he's looking for is a pig here. Does he get it? Indeed, he does. Only loses 2 lizards for it as well. Very nice rush there from Red Dinosaur, as he's going to take it back home and keep his economy going, I'd imagine. Ooh, he teased me for a second there. I thought he might have been going for a 3rd tier 1. And now, this is a really... It's dangerous to do this, but I'd like it as well in the back of a tier 1. Like, he didn't just sell... I like that he sold it just to give him a little bit of extra money to move that farm from being queued to actually producing. But he didn't go super, super hard and just sell that farm, or sell that warren straight up to get to 8 farms. And the reason that's dangerous is because you go for like a 5-farm double attack, right? And you move in, you get some damage done, and then you're like, all right. And you go home, you sell off a warren so you can get up to 8 farms quickly. Well, all of a sudden, you've just kind of poked the bear, you know, and your opponent's kind of pissed and counterattacks you, and all of a sudden, he's got a lot more units than you, and you can very well just lose the game right there. But I think the way that Red Dino did that was very nice. Also like to point out this tier 1 warren placement here on the high ground. Typically, when you've got high ground outside your base like this, oftentimes it is worth it to throw a warren over there just to make sure they don't gain control of that very easily, even though that warren is indeed exposed. All right, this is kind of scary for Red Dino. I like the mind touch here, but I'm pretty sure Mana Shrimp did see those go down. So, yeah, Pyle was doing this to me the other day, where he'd push in with a really strong attack, and then he'd throw down some mines as well. Very, very brutal style, but Red Dinosaur decides to pack it up and go home for now, which was probably the right call, as these toads, man, like, if you can't target those toads down in time, they can get some phenomenal connections and really wreck upon your armies. So, Red Dino just takes it home, decides he's going to keep his eco going, try to match what Mana Shrimp is up to, get up to a tier 2, in this case going for chameleons, and meanwhile, Mana Shrimp just going for lots and lots of tier 1. He knows these mines are here, right? Yeah, so he's trying to inch forward and just... Oh, that was beautiful. He actually didn't even lose a squirrel there. And again, very, very well done for Mana Shrimp. Typically, you kind of expect to lose a squirrel, but he microed that in such a way where those squirrels only really suffered the AoE damage rather than the single target main part of the blast. So... well done for Mana Shrimp there, just every little piece of food. And now he's going to go up into this Fox. This is a nice timing for a Fox. This isn't a super early Fox rush or anything. This is kind of just the buy the book, you know, hey, I'm going to get a lot of tier 1, I'm going to get a second base going, and I'm going to start trying to get up to my tier 2 and tier 3. Now, Red Dino is saving up a little bit of money. He decides to spend that on his own economy. I was getting a little excited. I thought he was going to throw down a Fox Warren. But Red Dino has actually got a lot of good anti-Fox stuff in his deck. Lizards are really good against Fox because they move just as fast. They both have the keyword Swift, which makes them move faster than other units. So Lizards can get on top of the Fox, chase it down pretty easily. A pack of like 9 to 12 Lizards is really what it takes. I feel like, you know, maybe 6 or less the Fox can probably kite and deal with. But once you get up to 9 or 12, that's normally enough. He's got the chameleons, as we saw in previous matches. You can use the chameleons. You know, Red Dino could throw the chameleons maybe like right here, expecting the fox to go through here. And finally, he's got the mines, which mines... Nothing feels worse, man, than losing your foxes to mines. I remember a game I played against Classic Metal. I think it was a tournament game. And I'm known as a fox player, right? And mines aren't super popular in the meta. So, and again, they're stealth, right? So Mana Shrimp doesn't see that mine. The only way you're going to see a mine is if you see it while it's being built. But then even after that, after it finishes being built, you don't retain vision of it, right? And it takes 3 mines to kill a fox. So I'm playing a game against Classic Metal. I'm pretty notorious fox player, so he picked up the mines. Again, you don't really expect the mines because they're not super common. And I like run in. I'm running in like something like this, right? And I just straight up just walk in, boom, right into his 3 mines, loses fox. And in this position, if Mana Shrimp loses the fox, it's really bad. Oh, those mines go off, but the fox lives. You need 3 to take out the fox these days. So like if Mana Shrimp loses his fox here, that's not necessarily game over. But if you go for like a fox rush strategy and you lose your fox very quickly, that's basically game. That's a very high risk, high reward build. Alright, more mines are coming in. Red Dino sells those off though, as he did realize Mana Shrimp saw him. And Red Dino's fox is almost here, so we're going to see some fox versus fox. You're not supposed to be able to do that, says P-Boop in response to the scroll micro there. Mishi commenting on how hard that is to pull off. Really nicely done for Mana Shrimp. And Mana Shrimp's got to be careful. Like, he doesn't want to lose his fox outright, you know. And Mana Shrimp's got some good anti-fox in his deck as well. He's got the chameleons. So you can set up that trap. And you can see both players are trying to raise that chameleon number. Because you can't just use 2. You need 4. You need 6, you know. 4, I think, is the best number to pull that kind of thing off, but 6 is not bad either. Now, chameleons actually trip mines now when they're stealth. They used to not, so lots of great value there from Mana Shrimp. Chameleons really can be used as a minesweeper these days. All right. Both players macroing up. This is actually a pretty cool game. Like, we haven't really seen a game like this tonight. We're at the 7-minute 30 mark, and both players have pretty sizable armies. Mana Shrimp tried to execute a chameleon attack there, but ends up losing all his chameleons in the process. Nice control from Red Dino. And so far, I think Red Dino is edging a little bit of a lead, but keep in mind that Mana Shrimp does have a better economy, and Mana Shrimp's fox goes down. Very nice control for Red Dino. That's exactly what he needed. He's going to be really happy about this engagement. Red Dino should be able to clean up this army eventually with this fox, but the overwhelming numbers of Mana Shrimp knock out the army that Red Dino had on the ground, but really the big key unit here at the moment is the fox. So even though Red Dino lost more in that engagement, the fox is what really matters at this point. And since Red Dino knocked out his opponent's fox and kept his fox alive, he's got to be feeling good about that. It looks like Mana Shrimp is going to commit to trying to produce another fox here. I think you should sell something off to try to get that going. You never want your units in the red for too long. Alright, another engagement coming in here for Red Dinosaur. Those chameleons trading blows on the front line. Red Dino is actually going up to an insane amount of chameleons. Look how fast that fox almost died too. Oh my god, 1 HP! Red Dino needs to be super careful. Pulls his fox all the way back, but mismanages the rest of his army. Loses a couple squirrels and a tier 2 unit there. That's definitely not negligible. But while Mana Shrimp is on the retreat, this is free reign for the fox. Get me knocking out units left and right here. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's really easy to underestimate that burst DPS from the Falcon, man. Like, he almost killed that fox. That was so close. If Mana Shrimp got the fox there, he might have just straight up won the game. There he goes. Gets that shot off on the Falcon he was looking for. Ooh, the fox is back here for Mana Shrimp. But the pigeons here are the real story for Red Dinosaur. Well, the real story is his third base of Mana Shrimp. This could very well just win Mana Shrimp the game. And look how far ahead his economy is. But the pigeons are going to allow this fox to heal back up very, very quickly, which is incredibly important in situations like this. All right, here we go. Another engagement's going down. One of the toads connects, but the rest of them do not. Oh, target fire down on Red's Kasha. Almost got it. I guess Green's Kasha was reloading there. I thought for sure he was going to take that hit. Red Dino's got some good momentum, but doesn't want to overextend. Is going to back out just a little bit. But these pigeons are going to give him a lot of longevity on the front lines. Oh, the pigeons, says the chat. Yeah, I know. It might be too many pigeons if I was being super critical here. But it's hard to say, man. Like, Red Dino has been playing phenomenally, but this third base, right? Like, eventually it should just come down to numbers here. Mana Shrimp's been on such a good economy for so long. I mean, relatively speaking, you know, 2 farms to 5 or 4 is pretty good. Oh, but gets the shot in on the pig. It's exactly what he's looking for. He even takes out another one, maybe even a third. That is a ton of damage. Looks like he might end up getting this gristmill as well. Mana Shrimp should be able to clean up the rest of this army. Mana Shrimp actually gets Red Dinosaur's fox, though. That's absolutely huge. And the fox for Mana Shrimp goes down as well, however. What is this game anymore, ladies and gentlemen? Both players knocked into starvation. Red Dino sells off his fox. He's going to have to sell more than that. Now, it takes a gristmill 20 seconds to build. So these players are on a very short clock. They've got to build another gristmill before that starvation timer hits 20 seconds, or build a campfire. So Red Dino's selling off a bunch of his stuff to be able to build something. It looks like he's just going to go for the campfire here. Mana Shrimp grabs another gristmill with a few seconds to spare. Red Dino takes that campfire, get himself out of starvation. Now, Mana Shrimp needs to make sure he's able to put down a farm basically immediately. He's only going to have a few seconds to do that. And another big engagement's coming in. Yeah, Mana Shrimp's even going to leave the front lines to make sure he doesn't starve out. Plant that farm as soon as he can. Oh, and he doesn't have enough food for it. Oh, my God. What a crazy ending to this game. That is so funny, dude. Oh, poor Mana Shrimp. So what happened there, guys, is Mana Shrimp lost units in that engagement, right? So he had enough money to put down a farm. He had like 90 food or something. And then the engagement hits, and he's got to start paying for reinforcements. And then all of a sudden he's broke. The farm gets queued up rather than starts, and then he starves out. Oh, that's so funny, man. Good stuff. Oh, geez. Okay. I don't think I'm going to do any extra games tonight. So Mishi and a couple other people that submitted, I'll get to you guys on Thursday. But I will do these last 3 that I got lined up here. I only normally do 12, so we're doing 16 tonight. So just saying, you guys, a little bit extra. Hey, take it easy, Protocan. Thanks for watching, man. All right, match number 14. Let us get into it. Okay, spawning on the right, we've got Big Pimpintosh. And his opponent to left, Vlad Lad. All right, again, we see some Fox play. But I don't want to get too excited because, you know, just because he's got Fox doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get there in this game, right? Squirrel, Pigeon, Skunk from both players as well. Very standard opening. Again, I feel like Lizards is just such a good addition to that. Because Lizards are going to deal with your opponent's Skunk so well and give you counter-attacking capability. Man, that was so crazy last game, dude. Poor Mana Shrimp, man. That was a fantastic game. We've seen some cool games tonight, for sure. Okay, so looks like nothing crazy in the early game. I'd imagine, if I had to guess, that both players are going to go for 8 farm into 2 tier 1 into Skunk Warren. But we might see some derivatives of that. We might see maybe just 1 Squirrel Warren into Skunk. We might see 3 Squirrel with a Campfire. There's a lot of different things these players can do in the early game. The only reason I'm saying, like, we'll probably see 2 Squirrel Warren into Skunk is that's a pretty meta opening. Again, if you're a new player, maybe you just picked up Tooth and Tail during one of these great Steam sales that have been going on lately. Yeah, as we see here that Tosh, yeah, see, those are the 2 variants I was mentioning. Tosh goes for 8 farm into a tier 1, into a tier 2. This is a bit greedier. And Vladlad goes for straight tier 3. I'd imagine he might pick up this Campfire with it. But if Vladlad scouts and sees that his opponent went 1 tier 1 into tier 2 directly, he's got a little timing window where he could come in here and try to get some damage done. Let's see. Looks like he was thinking about it, but decides to back out for now. Like, this is the window right here. Like, I can pause the game. I can pause the game. So it was more like 5 seconds ago or something, but like, look at this, you know, 8 squirrels to 3 squirrels and a snake almost out. So if Vladlad was actually here at Tosh's front door right now, he could get some damage done. But instead, Vladlad's just going to play it cool. Get up to that Campfire, get up to his own tier 2. And we're going to kind of approach the early to mid game, no harm, no foul. Tosh actually takes his own Campfire as well, so really very even stuff so far. Like, they got there a bit differently, but they're both getting to, you know, 12, 15, tier 1 with a Campfire with tier 2. Vladlad's getting a second base, and Tosh instead is going to grab another Campfire. Okay, so Vladlad's going to identify the snakes from his opponent, which isn't normally what you see as the first rush. I think that also might be a counter. It's kind of funny because I think the snake is a little bit of a counter to the skunk, right? And so both players assumed, all right, my opponent probably went skunk first, right? So I'm going to get snake first to try to counter that. And then they both realized, well, crap, my opponent went snake first, so let me just get my skunks at this point, you know, just to round out my army. But I really do like the Squizzard here from Tosh. Like, the lizards in this army composition are going to be able to get on top of Vladlad's army, focus fire down those key tier 2 units, and try to get some damage done. I love this kind of play as well. Kind of microing forward with these snakes, just trying to get whatever damage done he can. Need to be very careful with that kind of stuff, though. If you do get punished for it and lose a snake or 2, that can really, really be devastating. Vladlad throwing down a balloon. That's going to protect this area. Nice for him. I would have liked to see the balloon maybe, like, I understand why he put it here because it's on the double high ground, and that could be quite annoying to deal with. But I'd like to see the balloon maybe even more, like, right here-ish, you know, because then that balloon really defends all of this real estate for Vladlad very well. But this is what I was talking about earlier, by the way. Like, look how much vision that balloon grants you, you know. Great little micro here from the snakes, but this is where the lizards come in, man. These lizards are so fast, they're going to get on top of these snakes. Are they going to be able to take one out? It looks like one is going to die. Nice pickup there from Tosh. Like, Vladlad might not have even been aware of the lizards. You know, if he was, then he probably might not have tried something like that. But he did get the Campfire, so killing the Campfire, you know, as exciting, as hyped as I got for that, that probably was a better trade for Vladlad, because he traded 1 snake for a Campfire plus like 2 or 3 tier 1, right? Vladlad's also got a better economy. He got his second base up and running a little bit faster. Tosh is not slouching on his too much, but Tosh is he's kind of like macroing up his second base the reasonable amount. Very nice pickup on that balloon, by the way. Just gets in, target fires that down, gets out. But yeah, like, Tosh is being, like, reasonable about this, right? Like, yeah, I'll take a second base, throw a couple farms down, probably throw a couple more down right here. You know, taking it easy. Meanwhile, Vladlad just went super hard, man. This was a very risky play to do, but honestly, you see that a lot at high level. And Tosh is trying to get in here and deal the damage now while he can. He's got the better army for the time being because Vladlad invested so much into that second base. But not forever. And Tosh actually wasn't even aware of it. It's unfortunate because I was going to be like, Oh, you know, he identified that his opponent went 8 farms on the second base and realized, okay, I've got a timing window to come in here. But he just kind of tested the waters, which is important to do. You know, he just kind of came in and shoulder checked Vladlad, really. Like, hey, if I attacked in, can you deal with it? Can you not deal with it? What's up? And he realized, hey, Vladlad's missing a little bit from his army here. Attacks in, but he overextends. Vladlad holds. Vladlad took a lot of damage there. But Vladlad's economy is through the roof, man. The problem is he lost so many Warrens. And he's playing like he still has those Warrens, you know? Like, he's being really aggressive here. Kind of hoping that his tier 1 reinforcements are on the way, but he's only got 1 squirrel here. With no home to his name. And Big Pimpatosh should be able to hold this off. As he's just got his Warrens left. Now, granted, Vladlad did get in there, kill 2 Warrens, which is very nice for him. And now he's going to counter push in. Yeah, there we go. Vladlad kind of I think Vladlad just didn't realize how many tier 1 Warrens he lost there. And now he's starting to get the memo and rebuild it. But Tosh has got to get some more economy going, man. It's going to get to the point where it's just going to come down to the economic advantage for Vladlad here. You know, in any real-time strategy game, man, who wins? Like, the guy with more stuff, right? Like, it doesn't matter how much hotshot, micro, and cool tactics you do sometimes. Like, if your opponent just has, even if it's the wrong stuff, if he's got so much of it, it can be a big deal. But Tosh is being super aggressive here. This balloon is up, though. The critical tier 2, a couple of them actually going down. The snake poison getting another kill from the grave there for Tosh. It seems like, no, I guess the snake did live. It got pretty low, though, I think. I'm actually pretty impressed. Like, I think it's just how much damage Tosh got. Tosh dealt to Vladlad earlier on with that big attack where he took out so many Warrens, right? Because Vladlad's economy, man. I feel like a broken record, but that's a very, very big deal. Now, Tosh is starting to get there. And another thing, too, is these pigs will start mining out eventually. We're not quite there yet. Vladlad even trying to get a third base established. Tosh did scout it pretty quickly, try to get his lizards over there to deal with it, but backs out for now. Vladlad the Mad Lad. Oh, my God. Cold Warp Gates. That is an amazing nickname. Mad Lad. I gotta convince one of our Discord mods to change Vladlad's name to Mad Lad. I always think of Vlad the Impaler, man. Every time I see the name Vladlad. It's probably what he's going for. Nice sell there. I'm gonna take it back up. And now this is where the front lines are. You know, Vladlad's kind of threatening this base here from Tosh, and Tosh is trying to threaten this one. And this water in between is definitely a division here for these front lines. I'm actually surprised. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised if Vladlad attacks in because this water, you know, these lizards trying to move through this water basically negates that speed advantage that they get. So needs to be careful of that sort of thing. Tasha's taking this base as well. I'm surprised we're still in this game, to be honest. Like, we're at 10-minute mark almost. And it was super... I could have sworn Tosh was just going to win earlier on. Very well done from Vladlad, hanging in there. And I think his economy finally boomed from, like, risk to reward. And he was able to you know, hold on. I think Tosh overextended a little bit. And here we go. Tosh trying to move in for the kill. But is he going to have enough? He's really committed to this engagement. It looks like Vladlad's going to win it. Is Vladlad going to use this opportunity to counterattack? Oh, does that snake go down? Yes, it does, even with the pigeon healing. That's super unfortunate for Tosh. Every tier 2 unit really matters in these kinds of situations. All right. Massive stealth. Massive stealth. Change Vladlad's name to Mad Lad on Discord. I love being friends with the developers and moderators. Alright, man. Tosh, moving in again. Getting some... That was pretty decent for Tosh there, right? Like, I think he kind of got the better end of the tier 2 trade there. But Vladlad's overall army is just very far ahead. One thing to keep in mind with these graphs too is that it does count the balloons for Vladlad. But is Tosh running dry? Nice sell on that balloon, by the way. Realizing that was going to die, just sells it right before. And moving in, now this owl for Vladlad could be a big deal. Nice target fire onto that owl from Tosh, trying to get some poison stacks on there, but the pigeons and the natural healing of the territory kind of counteract that a bit. And this might be too much. I think Vladlad wins from here, right? Oh man, dude, that hero skunk was staying alive for so long. Does Vladlad take it? TnT, the only RTS where you can casually have bases right next to your enemy. Dude, what was that one free-for-all game, or 2v2 or something we had, where, like, the map gen kind of was a little off, and, like, the spawn, two enemies spawned, like, right next to each other, and their pigs were literally firing at each other. It was like if two different players spawned right here. It was hilarious. The map gen has been improving. Andy's even pushing out another patch here shortly to make the map gen even better. But it's really interesting, like, random maps really keep the game very fresh. Witty Pun says, could you really call that casual? Fair enough. I don't think it's casual at all when your base is within spitting distance of your opponent's base, right? That's very panic-inducing. Man, I think Vladlad's got it, guys. I think this owl is starting to net enough value. But the big, I guess, you know, Tosh does have the better economy at this point, but yeah, he taps out. Vladlad takes the match. Hey, Gabeney with the host, man. I appreciate it. What's going on, man? We are wrapping this show up here shortly, but we got a couple more for you guys tonight. So let us hop into match number 15. All right, spawning in the bottom, we've got the gentleman. And his opponent to the right. Big Pimp Tosh. Okay. So Tosh has got the badger, gentleman's got the owl. Typically in those situations, it can indeed favor the badger, but who knows if we'll ever get there. Tosh has also got the pigeon, which is basically the best bro of the badger, man. If you're going to run the badger, you might as well take that pigeon. Just because when you get a nice flock of pigeons in the later game, they'll heal up that badger. And the badger has a keyword called agile, where it can move and shoot at the same time. So what you kind of want to do, and it's also got a pretty nice HP pool. So you bring the badger up front, and it's just got this Gatling gun, right? It's got to wind up, so the DPS is a little bit slower up front. And then once it winds up, it's doing so much damage, absolutely wrecking your opponent. And the pigeons keep it alive. So that's kind of what Tosh is going for in the later game. But he's got that Squirrel Toad chameleon kind of style for the early game to get there. Now Squirrel Toad is going to be very nice against Squirrel Lizard here from the gentleman. But the gentleman does have the skunks, and Tosh does not. So if the gentleman decides to get very aggressive in the early game, we'll see how that goes. I think if Tosh micros very well, Squirrel Toad Pigeon can deal with Squirrel Skunk very nicely. But we'll definitely just have to see how the engagement goes, how the micro goes. And indeed, it looks like the gentleman is going to go for that 8 farm, 2 tier 1, tier 2 opening. And Tosh hasn't really decided on his next play yet. He did grab this campfire here, which is very nice. Gentleman probably hasn't scouted that yet. But since the gentleman hasn't scouted the entire map at this point, he's probably going to go over there and see that campfire, which is unfortunate for Tosh, because at this phase of the game, it can be fairly easy for the gentleman to punish that. Alright, Tosh still hasn't built any tier 2, and now he has scouted Gentleman's Main and seen the tier 2 is on the way. I don't think he quite saw the skunks were out, so he's not sure which tier 2 it is, but in today's meta, you know, you can guess with fairly decent confidence that tier 2 will be a skunk. And Gentleman's going to kind of come in and looks like he thought about it. He's going to back out for now, but he definitely has the capability to come in and kind of shoulder check his opponent. Just come in with the skunks, do a little bit of poking and prodding. I'm actually surprised he brought his squirrels so far forward. If these toads get some good connections, one of the toads goes down. Oh, one of them actually dies to that gristmill tanking. And the other toad's going to get in, get a nice connection on that skunk and knock it out, but that skunk did enough work before it died, as Tosh's tier 1 count has been very diminished, and he's trying to get up to that snake to deal with the skunk. Even toads will deal with skunks nicely if he can get some good connections here. Gets only one toad goes off so far. Nice micro on the gentleman, target firing those down, but the other skunk does go down for the gentleman. Let's see if Tosh has enough squirrels left over to deal with this. It looks like he's going to push the gentleman back for now. But the reinforcements from the gentleman might be too much here. The gentleman's been very on top of target firing down those toads. Hey, take it easy, Premibo. Alright. Nice connection there. Another nice connection. That's exactly what Tosh was looking for. And he's going to push Gentleman back for the time being. Going to knock down this Gristmill. This Gristmill from the Gentleman, by the way, is just a tank damage, essentially. Try to be annoying, because the AI of the units are just going to fire at whatever is closest to them. So, you know, if that Gristmill's taking damage, that just kind of highlights the importance of target firing in this game. Nice toad connections there for Tosh. Absolutely beautiful. Gentleman knows it and taps out. Very nice win from Tosh there. Alright guys, last game of the night. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. I will be back on Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream on Steam, unfortunately, on Thursday. I had to get my wife to stop streaming so I wouldn't lag too much, and so we'll see. Well, I guess I'm late, says Kerpa. Of course you're late. What are you talking about? You know the show starts 2.5 hours ago. It's alright, man. You got a nice, big, juicy VOD to watch. I think you got a couple little matches in here. Yeah, we had a Kerpa game. Yeah, game number 5. Alright, guys. Last replay of the night. I hope you enjoyed the show. Match number 16. Alright, spawning on the right, we've got Comrade Snick. And his opponent, to the left, Bisclicker. Wow, you gonna deny why I feel like that's the mass stealth? I know, man, I'm a terrible person. I guess since I'm dual streaming, like, I'm taking up a lot of bandwidth. And me and my wife normally stream at the same time, and it's fine. But tonight, I was just like, pretty please, let me stream. So I don't lag and I can stream on Steam. And she was nice and let me do it. But I don't think I'm going to pull that on her on Thursday, you guys. So maybe I'll just stream on Steam and not do the Twitch stream. And all you guys will just have to be forced to open up my stream at a different browser. So we have a safe Warren coming out for both players. I was getting hyped because you don't see safe Warrens as much as you used to. Like, back in the day, 5-farm Warren openings were very common because the threat of mole aggression was very high. But that's kind of changed nowadays. And it's a bit more standard to either go for an aggressive opening or just go 8-farm. But there's certainly nothing wrong with going for a safe farm opening. One of the best players in the game, Chip from Space, still goes for a 5 or 6-farm Warren most of the time. So it definitely works. And the advantage that you get off the 8-farm over like a 5 or 6-farm Warren is I mean, it's definitely a thing. I don't want to say it's negligible, but the longer the game goes on, the less it matters, right? Because eventually both players will farm out their entire main base and end up with the same food in the long run. So far, nothing crazy. Kind of waiting to see. Actually, we're seeing a lot of tier 1 from both players. Neither player opted to go for a tier 2. As I say that, does Comrade place down a tier 2? Looks like he's saving up for one. Maybe Chameleon would make more sense. He's going for the Falcon. You don't typically see the Falcon as like a very, very early tier 2, but I think it's kind of underestimated in that role. If you can micro those Falcons well, keep them alive, they will absolutely shred apart your opponent's tier 1. And we see Misclickers also going for those fast Falcons. So this is going to be a pretty cool game, man. It's really going to come down to control in this early game engagements. Comrade here having the Toads as well, however, is going to make this target fire from Misclicker and incredibly difficult because he's going to want to target his opponent's Falcons, but he also wants to target his opponent's Toads. So it's going to get a bit awkward for him. We see an expansion base going down for Comrade here, and Misclicker has not scouted that yet, but let's see if he just decides to take his own expansion anyways. It's kind of sort of about that time, so I wouldn't be surprised. Instead, it looks like he's going to go for more tier 2, perhaps? Maybe Skunk? No, he's going to go straight Falcons, man. I'm getting worried they're not going to fight anytime soon. If you're using the restream thing, you're only doing it once. Really? I have no idea how it works, man. I am using the restream thing. I have no idea why why I was dropping frames so hard earlier then. Yeah, my internet's super hit or miss, man. Like, what can you do? That's big internet companies for you. But I even pay extra for like the top-notch internet I can get, and most of the time it's perfect, but every now and then I will drop frames, and it's no fun. I'm a little bit disappointed. Like, I'm excited that we're gonna go into a big game here, but I'm disappointed we didn't see a big engagement earlier on, because I was kind of looking forward to this like small number of Squirrel Falcon versus Squirrel Falcon Toad. But here we go. Now we're gonna get somewhere with a fight. And is Comrade gonna commit to this? No, he's gonna back off after seeing the Skunks, and I kind of agree with that. That wasn't a very good attack path for him. Oh man, if you get up on this high ground, that'd be very nice. But the Falcons are gonna grant high ground vision for Liquor, but even still, if you look at the mini-map here, the only ramp is all the way around here to get the rest of his units up there. So far, no harm, no foul here. I think Liquor is progressing in this game a bit. It's awkward, right? Like, with what Comrade has, he's got a big opportunity to go super hard right here, right now, and just try to end the game. Right? Like, he's got so much tier 1. He's got a lot of Toads, which are very explosive, can deal a lot of damage, can knock through enemy lines pretty quickly. But his army is not going to age well. It's kind of losing value over time compared to what Liquor is getting. Just lots of tier 2, a very healthy economy, a tier 3 unit. So as long as Comrade doesn't attack, you know, in the next minute or two, Liquor is going to be in phenomenal shape. Now, as I say that, Comrade is getting his economy going a bit better. Normally, you don't see players space out their farms like this. If I was going to be super, super critical, because basically, you know, it's just the 60 food that you're spending on these gristmills when you could, you know, instead put all those farms right here. Nice little attack, however, on this farm, or campfire rather, just knocks that out. No harm, no foul. But there is an advantage of taking all these gristmills, which is simply the map presence, the vision, you know. So it's not the end of the world, but if you want to talk about being like hyper efficient, technically Comrade Snake has spent 120 extra food he didn't really need to. But Comrade's not in position, and Misclicker is going to try to return the favor of little flank attacks. Going to knock out one Warren, maybe a second and a third as well. Ooh, doesn't finish that third one off. He starts backing out. He's going to hemorrhage off a couple units. And the Toad connections are pretty good here, as Comrade Snake is moving in, but that is so much gas. And yeah, Comrade's busting through. He's still got plenty of Falcons in the air. Now he's starting to get some damage done. He needs to be careful not to overextend, though. The Falcons are starting to die. One already went down. A second one goes down as well. He's going to back out. Ooh, is that Squirrel? Hero Squirrel takes out that additional Falcon. The road actually speeds units up, and it doesn't, like, road and water doesn't affect the falcon, right? So that squirrel actually sped up some and got up to it. Now, Comrade's gotta sell off these toads, man. Now that the owl is out, you absolutely need to get rid of these toads, as the toads exploding up on those free mice is not a good trade for the toad player. Oh, Comrade looks like he might be wanting to go for a base race here, which is actually going to be very advantageous for him with how many gristmills that he has on the map. It's going to take Liquor a long time to kill all those. Liquor just spins a couple of his mice, knocking some things out, but he gets his units in position. He does not want a base raid here. Typically, you want a base raid when you've got the inferior army, right? So since Miss Liquor feels like, and has the better army here, he wants to prevent that base raid situation. He wants to beat Comrade in a straight-up fight if possible. Owl puking out more and more mice. Blech. 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 Alright, Liquor's got Owl Warren number 2 place. It's not quite on the board just yet, as he's going to move in. This is actually a pretty important base for Comrade. He really can't afford to be losing this here. And here goes the base race attempt from Comrade Snake, moving around the side. Miss Clicker's going to go for it, though. He already placed this gristmill, kind of indicating he realizes this is a base race situation. And that gristmill will help keep him alive as long as that gristmill completes before these other two go down, which it looks like will be the case. Now, these players are going to try to target fire down all of the gristmills and campfires from their opponents as quickly as they can. Oh, Comrade getting distracted. Deciding to go for some Warrens here. He really needs to just target fire down this gristmill, but I guess it doesn't matter too much at this point, as Miss Glicker did already get an additional gristmill up. Okay, man, what we got? We got 13 squirrels, 2 toads, and 4 falcons versus 12 squirrels, 4 falcons, and owl skunk. So basically they have a similar amount of squirrels and falcons here. Licker's got 4 skunks and an owl versus a single toad from Comrade Snick. So Comrade's in some hot water here, man. He cannot take a direct engagement. He cannot lose any more units really for free or anything, which is going to be hard. He's going to try to come in. If he focus fires this gristmill and actually gets it, he'll win the game. Comrade Snake, is he going to do it? Oh my god. That thing's got to be at 1 HP. Dude. That was so close. I wish I could see how much HP that was at, man. Oh, dude. Comrade almost won the game. But Liquor with the precise hold just barely has enough. Comrade realizes that's it and taps out. Alright guys, that is it for the show. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, everybody, and participating. I cannot do this show without you, man. So please continue to submit replays to me to ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. I'm definitely going to need some juice for Thursday night's show. And yeah, that's it. I had a great time. I hope you Steam viewers enjoyed the content. Definitely check out Tooth and Tail, man. I've been playing. I have so many hours. It's insane in this game. I really do enjoy it. I think it's a great game. It's a great addition to your RTS collection, I feel like. So give it a shot, man. And submit me replays, ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. And I will see everybody on Thursday. Take it easy, guys. I need to host somebody. Who are we going to host? Who are we hosting? Who we got? All right, let's give Protocam a raid, you guys. What are we gonna say? Let's say calculated. Unless somebody can think of something better. Let's go say hi to Protocam. Thanks everybody for tuning in on Steam. I will see y'all next time. Take care, everybody.